Take a look now as they're lining up for the kickoff. The Vikings won the toss and elected to receive. And so Ray Wersching for the San Francisco 49ers ready to kick it off. And deep for the Vikings would be Jimmy Edwards, number 32, flanked on his right by Brent McClanahan and Robert Miller on his left. And it's a high but short kick. Miller fighting the sun, and it's going to go out of bounds at the 5, and they'll have to kick it over again. Bright sunshine here at Metropolitan Stadium, and so as Wersching kicked it high, Robert Miller was looking right into the glare, and he gestured immediately that he did not have a handle on it and let it go out. Wersching, by the way, in kicking off for San Francisco, a 7-year man out of Cal, who, among other things, had tryouts with Atlanta, kicked for 4 years for San Diego. In fact, the first time he ever kicked for San Francisco in 1977, he kicked a 50-yard field goal to beat the Giants, which is a great way to break in. He was born in Austria.
Benny, this number 32 for the Vikings in the middle return man, Edwards, has powerful legs. A good kick return man, was outstanding in Canada. He has the legs of a 220-pounder. Be interesting to see if he gets the ball.
Again, now you're looking at Jimmy Edwards, the deep man, a first-year man out of Northeast Louisiana. And here comes Wersching's second effort from the 35. And this time, Edwards will take it on the 7, out to the 25, hit at the 30, and falls to the 32-yard line. And the man who hit him was Bob Farrell, who is normally a running back, number 38. So let's take a look at the two ball clubs now as we await the first offensive play of the 1979 season. So Minnesota will put it in play. First and 10 on their own 32. And Tommy Kramer starting his first series with Sammy White going right. Ahmad Rashad goes left. Foreman is up in front of Ricky Young, and it's Ricky Young who hit across the 35 and goes to the 38-yard line. Willie Harper and the rookie Reuben Vaughn made the hit.
Well, this first play indicates, Vinny, that the type of running game we might get. I formation, basic football, pick-a-hole football by the tailback. He picks his hole. The 49ers were in an even defense, a 43 defense, which is a basic sound defense.
Ricky Young will now be running with Robert Miller as Chuck Foreman comes out. It's 2nd and 4 on the Viking 38. White in a slot inside Rashad to the right, and that's Ricky Young in motion to the left. Robert Miller on a pitch out, gets to the 40, fights his way to the 41. Not quite enough, however, for the first down. And the hit was made by Jimmy Webb, the 5-year man out of Mississippi State.
The Vikings used a little motion that time. They sent the halfback in motion. It didn't bother the linebacker at all. He stayed at home and turned the play in.
So it'll be 3rd and 1 for Minnesota. And for the Vikings, it marks only the second time this year that they were able to win the toss of the coin. In 3 exhibition games, they lost the toss, and the opposition went all the way the first time they got their hands on the ball.
Hey, their strongest line is to the right.
Kramer trying to generate a drive. Robert Miller following a Ricky Young block, and he didn't make it. Young was stacked up trying to open up a hole on the San Francisco right side, and if they were running at Reuben Vaughn and Cedric Hartman, they didn't make much of a move. So it'll be 4th down. How important is that for Kramer to get something going on his first drive, George?
Benny, that's a good question, because right now Kramer's adrenaline is flowing. He has to get a first down. It would help if he got a first down. They're running the ball so he doesn't have to put it in the air and make a mistake. They ran over their strength. They ran over Ron Yeri, but they didn't make it.
No, they didn't. It'll be 4th and a half a yard. Tommy Kramer gesturing to the bench that it's only this much. And now Bud Grant responds, and he brings in a couple of fresh runners. He's coming in Chuck Foreman along with Frank Myers. So evidently they're going to gamble. George, how do you like it?
Well, it is a gamble. If you don't make it, the other team has great field position.
2 tight ends, Stu Boyd on the left side and Bob Tucker on the right. Big play and a roll of the dice. 4th and short 1. Foreman and Young, the running backs. It's Foreman over the middle, and he's got the first down.
That's the way to make it. Go over the top. You can usually pick up inches that way. Foreman does that very well. Watch him go over the top. Gets up close to the line as he can. Now he jumps. Unless you meet him in midair, you can't stop him.
And Foreman, they tell us, came into camp as fat as a Christmas goose, and evidently he has lost some weight, and he has some maneuverability right now to keep the drive alive. First and 10 on the Viking 43 with Ahmad Rashad right, Sammy White left. And the runners are Ricky Young and Chuck Foreman. Here's Ricky Young, and he gets out to the 45 and falls forward to the 46. He put a good fake on Jimmy Webb to make the play go, and Tim Gray had to make the stop.
Well, defensively on the I formation, that middle linebacker bunch, number 57, has to stay at home. It's a pick-a-hole play where the halfback wants him to pull out of there, run out of there.
So it'll be 2nd and 7, the ball on the Viking 46. Remember, they started on their own 32, and the first big gamble of the year for Bud Grant. Short yardage, 4th and less than 1 on the 41, and Foreman picked up the first down for him to keep the drive alive. So 2nd and 7 on the Viking 46. You know, the Vikings only once, back in 1961, lost all their exhibition games, but they knocked off the Bears first game out of the chute. You remember that one?
I remember that very well, Vinny.
2nd and 7 on the Viking 46-yard line. The running backs are Robert Miller and Chuck Foreman. Kramer for the first time today, a little swing, and it'll be Robert Miller to midfield, and he gets into territory of San Francisco, and almost a first down. Depends on where they spot the ball. Scott Hilton finally brought him down.
This is the first time they were in a pro set, which is a passing set, and this is a good call. His first pass is a little screen pass, which is easy to throw, and they pick up a first down. Good call, pretty good execution.
So Robert Miller gets to the San Francisco 47-yard line. Scott Hilton, the rookie, number 55, who did not go to college, made the tackle. And so Tommy Kramer, who has made only one other start, that was in 1977. He threw 3 interceptions and lost to Oakland 35-13. It's a big day for him. Sammy White in a slot left inside Rashad. It's McClanahan in motion, and Chuck Foreman cutting back inside. Runs out past the 40. He brought down by Tony Dungy, number 27. But first he ran over Dungy. Dungy is a free agent from Pittsburgh that the 49ers picked up, and Foreman welcomed him to the NFC and just ran over him. Good blocks by Tucker and Hamilton.
Watch number 57 bunts, middle linebacker. You see, he gets pushed out of the way. Pretty good block by 61 Hamilton. You can't take a side. You got to take him on and get rid of the blocker.
First and 10, just inside the San Francisco 37-yard line. Kramer with Foreman, the sole setback. White inside Rashad, and Foreman does a great break on a safety blitz by Gray, and he gets inside the 35. Tim Gray, who was just picked up by San Francisco from Kansas City, was on a blitz, and Foreman was able to pick it off and get away from it.
And Benny, that's the way I like to see a cornerback get across. If he reads his keys, fly in there, turn that play in. It should have been hit for a loss. Gray played that perfectly.
So it is 2nd and 8, and the ball just inside the San Francisco 35-yard line. Almost the 34. The running backs are McClanahan and Young. Rashad is left and White right. The tight end Tucker on the right side. And Kramer's going down deep in the middle for Rashad. No good. And broken up by Lewis. Eddie Lewis, the 4-year man out of Kansas, number 22, right there with Rashad. And when you're talking about Rashad, no man has caught more passes over the past 3 years than Ahmad Rashad, 170 of them. In fact, he's the only player to reach the 50 reception in each of those years. So keep your eye on number 28.
Benny, they were again in a pro set. They've thrown 2 times from a pro set. They're running from the I, passing from the pro. Rashad should have had that ball. It's a well-thrown pass, good protection.
3rd and 8 from the 34, and now Ted Brown is in there along with Ricky Young. Rashad is left, White right, and Cunningham is in a slot right. Kramer under heat, throwing down the middle, no good. Almost picked off by Dungy, number 27. And I have a question. San Francisco picked up Tim Gray from Kansas City and Tony Dungy from Pittsburgh 4 days ago, and they're both starting. George, that's a shock.
They must feel that they have the experience and are better than what they've had in camp, and that they'll go with them even though they don't know the defenses completely.
To give you the problems of Bill Wall, so far in exhibitions and today, he's had 28 cornerbacks and 19 different safeties. So Greg Coleman, who is known to kick a line drive once in a while, is standing at midfield. Freddie Solomon is back along with Tony Dungy. Coleman, averaging 39 last year, is angling for the sidelines, and we'll see where they finally mark it. It looks like they're going to mark it close to the 20-yard line, where San Francisco will put it in play. So with 9 minutes and 44 seconds left to go in the first quarter, Minnesota nothing, San Francisco nothing. So San Francisco will put it in play, 1st and 10 on their own 16-yard line. Perhaps a letdown for the Vikes and a shot of adrenaline for San Francisco. DeBerg coming out slowly with Jackson behind him, the running back. You have Solomon on a wide left. In motion comes Paul Hofer, and there goes Jackson rolling out to the 23-yard line. On him was Paul Krause and Matt Blair. We'll take a look at the Viking defense as well as the San Francisco offense.
Well, you know, Vinny, going back to Minnesota, to have that good field position and not take advantage of it is kind of a letdown early in the ball game. The team that scores first in this ball game has a big advantage.
Steve DeBerg with a 2nd and 2 from his own 24-yard line. In motion goes the tight end Ken McAfee, and DeBerg is going to put it up, throwing to Hofer, who takes it out of bounds at the 27-yard line, and that'll be enough for a first down for San Francisco.
Now, Vinny, what they've done, they've used motion on 2 plays. If the Viking linebackers do not play those running backs tighter than that, San Francisco is going to have a big game. DeBerg's going to have a big game thrown to the backs. You've got to latch out of those guys and cover them tight, force him to throw downfield.
The man you expect San Francisco to pick on is on the far side of the field, number 27, the 2-year man, John Turner. So it is 1st and 10 from the 27. In motion goes McAfee. Here's Paul Hofer out across the 30 to about the 34-yard line. McNeil hit him right at the line of scrimmage, but it wasn't enough to stop him. And, of course, Paul Hofer, a 7-touchdown man last year, won the Eshmont Award. He was one of the bright spots in the 49er attack.
I like Hofer. He's a good, sound football player. He's not spectacular. He doesn't make too many mistakes. The game we did last year, he got 104 yards against the Rams.
He averaged almost 4 yards a carry. Number 36, Paul Hofer, a 4-year man out of Mississippi. So 2nd and almost 5. It's a long 4 from the 33. Backing off is Hofer along with running back Jackson. And it's Jackson bumping into DeBerg, and that busted the play, and he gets back to the 35-yard line. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Minnesota Vikings and the National Football League is prohibited. For Jackson to bump into DeBerg, we should mention, he hasn't played since 1977.
And they meant to have motion on that play. The back didn't go in motion. The quarterback moved his foot, but the back didn't move. Now, their strength, Vinny, is the right side of their offensive line.
There's Bill Walsh in his first year, the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. A big job instead, as he has his man, Steve DeBerg, calling plays. Coming back is the tight end, Paul Seal, and here goes Paul Hofer. He gets a block from Jackson, and he is a borderline as far as a first down is concerned. Jackson, by the way, number 40, is a marvelous blocker. He was the man who made Delvin Williams such a running threat for San Francisco, and they're going to have to measure.
Both teams to date have run to their strength to the right side in short yardage situations.
George, San Francisco is coming in with 2 safety men from other teams and a rookie punter. They have a 2nd-year man at center. What about those skill positions? Do you like their prospects starting off the year that way?
Well, it's difficult. I never wanted to change that lineup once in a year if I could help it. When you move people around like that, you're going to make mistakes. There's no way you can learn to work together in a short time, but Bill is doing the best he can with the personnel he has.
They are not kicking. It is 4th and inches, and they have brought in another tight end, Bob Brewer. So first the Vikings went for the first down and made it, and now here come the 49ers. So Solomon goes wide right. Hofer is on a wing. set back behind DeBerg. Big play. In motion goes Hofer. Here's Jackson. He's got the first down. George, this is a revolutionary first game.
I told you we were going to see a heck of a game today. We have so far.
That's two big gambles.
What it is both coaches want to take a chance. They want to win. They want to win the opener. They're going to gamble a little bit.
That's great to see.
From the fan standpoint, it's good. As a coach, I never like to do that.
All right, Bill Walsh has rolled the dice once along with Bud Grant. Grant, of course, has been coaching for 13 years, and Walsh a half a game. 1st and 10 from the 40. DeBerg has Jackson in motion left, looking right and throwing down the left side, and it is complete. Schumann beating John Turner, and that's the man we figured is going to be exploited today, because Mike Schumann, a two-year man out of Florida State, ran at him. Watch Turner.
Watch Turner at the top of the screen, the left corner, number 27. How deep he is. See how deep he is? They're going to throw in front of him, drive him off. Well-thrown ball.
No score. You're looking at 42-year-old Jim Marshall. 20 years for the Vikings, shaken up on that play. The defensive captain. He has set 2 records and a little wobbly going off. 267 consecutive games, 255 for one team. There's his replacement, and that would be Randy Holloway, a 2-year man out of Pittsburgh, number 75, who's a first-round draft choice. Here come the 49ers. 1st and 10 on the Viking 46-yard line. Solomon wide right. LeCount is in there now going left with McAfee, the tight end, in motion. And here goes Wilbur Jackson getting across the 45 and picked up a very tough yard or 2 at most. Scott Studwell playing for Jeff Seaman along with Tom Hannon bringing him down.
A gain of 2.
Well, what the 49ers are doing, they're coming out in a different set every down. They're using motion to run the football, basically. And by the way, going back to 75, he's a good football player, Holloway. He can rush the passer.
All right, it's 2nd and 8 on the Minnesota 43. 5:34 in the first quarter, no score. In motion is Paul Seal. They have Bob Brewer, another tight end on the left side, and they're coming left. Hofer has outrun Randy Cross, and he gets across the 40-yard line, but Cross was trying to pull number 51, and Hofer just beat him to the turn, so Hofer ran away from his blocker.
Well, there's motion with the running game again. Hofer did this on his own. He tried to circle it. He doesn't quite have the speed to go wide, but he still picked up 3 yards. Pretty good defense by the Vikings, except that nobody penetrated right away to hit him for a loss.
3rd and 5 on the Viking 40-yard line. Here's the big test now for Steve DeBerg, who had a very poor percentage on 3rd down passes last year. In motion is Hofer. DeBerg looking towards Hofer, throwing in the middle to Seal, who makes the reception, and he caught it between John Turner and Matt Blair. A fine catch by the tight end Paul Seal out of Michigan.
Well, again, it's an intermediate pass, which is a good call on 3rd and 5. Notice that nobody rushed DeBerg. The Vikings have to put more pressure on the quarterback if they hope to break up that passing attack.
Well, they just picked up 8 yards to get a 1st and 10 on the Viking 32-yard line, and DeBerg hitting on his first 3rd down pass. LeCount wide right with Solomon in the slot. Seal is the tight end on the left side. That's Solomon in motion left. Jackson and Hofer. Play action fake to Hofer. DeBerg to the left side and overshot Terry LeCount, and he had him wide open. That's the kid who had caught 10 passes in 3 games last year and then broke his wrist.
Turner had his back turned and was going deep. They had a 1st down there.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the Viking 32. This started this drive on the San Francisco 16.
Good 1st down call. Play action from the eye.
The Vikings had to punt, and San Francisco on a move from their 16. Steve DeBerg ready to go. 2nd and 10 from the 32. In motion is Paul Hofer. They go slot left, and DeBerg laying it off to Wilbur Jackson. Jackson to the 30, and after that it's tough yardage. That Blair hit him and bounced off. Otherwise, Blair would have really ruined the play.
Benny, again, we talked about throwing to the backs. You have to play those backs tight. If you don't, they're going to make some yardage.
They spot it now just inside the 30 at the Viking 29-yard line, so it's 3rd and 7, a pickup of 3. And once again, DeBerg in a tough call. 3rd and 7. DeBerg last year completed only 35% of his third down passes, and he's 1 for 1 today. Solomon wide right, Hofer in motion left. And DeBerg with Jackson staying in the block and off the hand. He had a first down, but there's a flag on the play. Holding against San Francisco.
Well, he was open. The ball was behind him. Pretty good call here. He used motion. Can't see it.
Dave Roller is being held on the play. Absolutely.
He should have had the ball. The ball was thrown behind him.
Roller, who was picked up by Minnesota from Green Bay expressly to rush the passer, and he was held, and the infraction now moves the ball back to the Viking 39-yard line.
Holding, number 68, offense, 3rd down.
John Ayers holding Dave Roller.
I like Roller. He's an enthusiastic player. He has leadership. He's always hustling. That decision to take the penalty is also an interesting one. I never like to give another shot.
And a shot they have. It's 3rd and 17, George, from the 39. Vin Scully with George Allen from Metropolitan Stadium. Mike Schumann is wide left, Solomon right. And DeBerg going to put it up 3rd and 17, loops it over to Wilbur Jackson, and he's to the 30-yard line. And the man who hit him first was Tom Hannon. So Hannon, number 45, came up to nail him. Not nearly enough.
No, there it is, dumping it off to the backs again. We'll see how the Vikings adjust to that.
Picked up 9, that makes it 4th and 8. Last year, Ray Wershing, when he was kicking from the 30 in, was 7 for 7. But from 30 out, he was only 8 of 16. So Ray Wershing is outside the 30. The spot will be at the 37-yard line. Joe Montana will be doing the holding. But right now, Minnesota calling a timeout. It's the first one used today. George, so far, we have seen the veteran coach Bud Grant gamble short yardage and made it on his own 41. And we saw the rookie coach Bill Walsh gamble short yardage on his own 38. It is not what we figured.
No, both teams are desperate to win.
So we've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. No score. It is a 4th and 8. The ball on the Viking 30-yard line. And Ray Wershing is in there to try and kick a field goal for San Francisco and get him on the scoreboard.
Let's watch the snap by the center and the holder.
The hold is by a rookie, Joe Montana, out of Notre Dame. The ball will be spotted on the Viking 38-yard line. The snap by Freddie Quillen is low, spot, and it is picked up by John Turner, and he's buried inside the 25. But there go the Vikings, blocking a field goal attempt.
Well, a low snap. The laces were facing the kicker. You like to turn the laces to the goalpost. Line drive kick.
By the way, on that attempted field goal by Ray Wershing, it is not officially a block kick. The official report says that the line drive kick hit a 49er in the helmet, or maybe even south of that. 1st and 10 on the Viking 25-yard line. Kramer has Foreman and Young, Rashad right and White left. Here comes Chuck Foreman, running laterally and tripped up right at the 25-yard line. Hilton, Gray, and Vaughn all in on the tackle.
You know, Vinny, going back to talking about why both coaches went for it, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, with field position dangerous, both clubs are having trouble scoring, moving the football. Sometimes that gives your offensive team confidence, helps them.
And especially with these two young quarterbacks, Kramer and DeBerg. 2nd and 9 from the 26. McClanahan is in there with Young now as Foreman comes out. Rashad left and White right. And Kramer's going to put it up. And he's going deep down the left side, and Rashad is sandwiched out of bounds, no good. Dungy and Lewis hit him. And by the way, Coach, we're talking about how Foreman and Miller and McClanahan, Bud Grant is doing something different today.
This is the first time in Bud's career that he's had a quarterback that he had to call the plays for. He feels that they should send in all the plays for Kramer, and I think it's wise. He's always had experienced quarterbacks like Tarkington and Coazzo and Joe Cap and people like that.
The Bud now has sent in Doug Cunningham, and Cunningham goes wide left. Sammy White in a slot right inside Rashad, and it's Young and Foreman behind Kramer. The ball on the Viking 26. Kramer to Foreman, and Foreman out to about the 30-yard line. They stack him up at the 29. At the bottom was Jimmy Webb along with Reuben Vaughn, and coming up was Scott Hilton. And Hilton, who did not play in college, is quite a surprise for the 49ers.
Played minor league football for
Pennsylvania.
many years, and then played in Canada and also had a tryout with the Eagles.
In fact, he was the Eagles' final cut in '78, and the 49ers think they've got a good one. So it's 4th and 6 from the 29. It'll be Coleman standing on his own 15. He'll be kicking from about the 17-yard line. Deep, Dungy and Solomon. And pretty good hang time as Solomon calls for a fair catch and then watches the ball kick and go out of bounds. And it is just in front or inside the 40. We'll see where they spot it. So Coleman, who averages about 39 yards, twice now has angled his punts, and the 49ers get the ball for the second time. You're looking at Greg Coleman. Coleman, who had been with Cleveland and Cincinnati. His longest punt last year was 59 yards.
We had a 4-0 hang time, which is pretty good on that.
What would you say would be very good?
Well, when you get up 4-4, 4-5, 4-6.
So on the San Francisco 38-yard line, Steve DeBerg puts it in play. 1st and 10, Solomon on the right. Schumann along with McAfee, the tight end. In motion comes Solomon. Jackson and Hofer release, and the pass is to Hofer, and he dropped it, and then Studwell hit him. And I think Hofer, who's a little rusty, might have heard Studwell and was trying to break before he caught the ball.
Well, Benny, the ball was thrown behind them. Watch the pass. The ball was thrown behind them. It's a good play. It's tough to defense. It takes advantage of active linebackers. Now watch. Oh, he should have caught it. Good offensive football.
So 2nd and 10 on the Vikings, well, on the San Francisco 38. The Vikings having just punted the ball. In motion goes McAfee to the right. And again, DeBerg is going to put it up and just release it to Wilbur Jackson, who's at the 40, and loses his helmet at the 43. Wow. Darrell Luce, along with Scott Studwell, really banged him up. And Wilbur Jackson, who missed all of last year, really got jolted.
Again, we talked about throwing to the backs, the short passing game, dumping it off. The linebackers have to stop this type of passing attack. However, your offensive backs take a physical beating because sooner or later they start coming up and putting the wood to them.
Darrell Luce, who made the hit, is a 5-year man out of Baylor, and Wilbur Jackson, who was a marvelous ball player when he's well. He missed last year with a bad knee. He was a Rookie of the Year in 1974, and they can ill afford to lose Jackson. And Bud Grant, the marvelous coach of the Minnesota Vikings. What a man. In his career of regular and postseason games, 124 victories, only 61 defeats. 13 years with the Vikings. Only Landry has been at it longer with 19 years. 6 consecutive NFC Central Divisional champions. And on the other side, Bill Walsh, 47 years old, the 11th head coach of the 49ers, and a man whose name is synonymous with football in the Bay Area. From San Mateo Junior College, San Jose State. He coached at Monterey Peninsula, Washington Union High School, and now the head man of the 49ers.
That last defense the Vikings used, why they converged on Jackson. They had a 34 alignment, 3 down men and 4 linebackers, and that's a pretty good counter for this short passing game.
Well, it'll be 3rd and 5 on the 43.
Roller's in there now.
Roller in there, number 76, to rush DeBerg. Hofer is on a wing and Solomon wide, and now Hofer in motion. DeBerg trying to roll away from Roller, then looking the other way. Juggled by Blair, and down it goes. Matt Blair had his hands on it. Matt, 6-year man out of Iowa State, number 59, but he couldn't hold it.
That should have been the first big play of the ball game. First of all, the ball shouldn't have been thrown. DeBerg shouldn't have thrown this ball. He threw it right into a crowd. Watch that. That should have been a touchdown for the Vikings.
Now there's pressure coming up. San Francisco with a rookie punter, 23-year-old Dan Melville out of the University of California, and this will be his first professional punt as he stands on his own 28-yard line. He'll be kicking deep to Jimmy Edwards. So Dan Melville, who had been recruited by Mike White for California, and White remembered him and has him with the 49ers. Nice punt. Jimmy Edwards standing on his 10, and Bob Farrell has him right at the 5-yard line. Bob Farrell, 4 years out of UCLA. Marvelous punt by Melville and great downfield tackling by Farrell.
Good coverage, good punt. First punt in the big leagues is a beauty.
By the way, Jimmy Edwards caught that ball on his own 10-yard line, George.
Jimmy Edwards is better on kickoff returns than he is on punt returns. Jimmy Edwards also didn't catch that ball too soundly.
Would you have advised him to let the ball bounce on the 10-yard line and maybe go in?
We like to fake the fair catch sign, let the ball go into the end zone inside of the 10.
So because of Edwards' inexperience, 1 year, the Vikings in a hole, 1st and 10 on their own 7-yard line. It's Foreman, and Foreman carrying out to about the 8, and they stack him up, and back he goes. So there's a lot of inexperience. And a report on Wilbur Jackson, who took that terrific hit from Studwell and Luce. He went out with a pinched nerve in his neck. So the first quarter has run its course, and as George Allen said before the ball game, low score. Well, we can improve on that. No score. At the start of the second quarter, Vin Scully along with George Allen from Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington. It is 2nd and 9 for the Vikings on their own 8-yard line. Kramer was 1 for 4 for 7 yards. DeBerg 6 for 9 for 46, but no score. The running backs, Chuck Foreman and Ricky Young. Rashad is wide left, wide right. The tight end on the left side, and in motion goes Tucker. Over the middle, Kramer to Ricky Young, and he's got him all alone at the 25-yard line, and there was nobody near him.
Well, they're in a pro set again, which is a passing set. Nobody covered the receiver. He's wide open. The linebacker buzzed to the out. They blew a coverage there, really. Played it too loosely.
1st and 10 for the Vikings on their own 25-yard line as Kramer hits for his second pass. Robert Miller is in there now with Chuck Foreman out of the eye, and Miller comes up set with Foreman. They go slot right, and Foreman just got away at the last minute, but not before he got at the 25-yard line. He was almost hit by Willie Harper, number 59, and was finally hit by Melvin Morgan.
Morgan forced very well in that play. Came up and lowered his shoulder, made a good play.
2nd and 8 on the Viking 27. Remember, they started because of that ill-advised catch by Jimmy Edwards on their own 7-yard line. You see Foreman going out. 2nd and 8 on the 27. Rashad is left and White right. Tucker is on the right side. Ted Brown is in there now. Robert Miller on a play-action fake and whistles all over the place. Ted Brown, number 23, is the first-round draft choice of the Vikings, and the procedural penalty will be invoked against Minnesota. But Brown is worth looking at. Boy, did he come to Minnesota with tremendous headlines and fanfare.
And, you know, I like what Bud Grant's doing, Benny. He's alternating his backs. They're calling plays.
False start, number 61, offense.
But he's also
Second
keeping
down.
them fresh. That's the important thing. He's keeping them fresh.
Penalty against Wes Hamilton, a 4-year man out of Tulsa. Missed only 1 start last year with a bad knee. Good ball player, number 61. All right, it'll be 2nd and 13 from the 22 as Kramer brings him up. He has Young and Brown. Ted Brown is 23. Kramer, just a little lob to Tucker, the tight end, and Dungy holds him up at the 25-yard line, and then Hilton comes up to hammer him, but there's a flag on the play.
It's against the Vikings.
So the Vikings, with Tucker trying to get open and apparently a little pushing off, and that's going to set him back. They had a 2nd and 13 coming off a illegal motional penalty. So Bob Tucker, who caught the pass, we will see now if he was the one guilty of pushing off or not. The umpire is, or the referee, Jerry Markwright.
Offensive pass interference, number 23, 2nd down.
And it was the rookie back, Ted Brown, we're talking about, who was guilty of trying to fight his way out into the open. And so it is 2nd and 23. Ted Brown. And that puts the ball at the 12-yard line of the Vikes.
2nd down and 23.
White, Cunningham, and Rashad are all in there now, so Kramer has a big play. The Vikes were the 2nd best third down offense in the NFC last year, so they get a big test on this play. Brown stays in and flares. Kramer going to Rashad, and they bring him down at the 28-yard line. John Brister, a free agent from Miami, was playing him awfully loose.
You know, they're doing something I don't believe. It's 2nd and long. They went to a 34 defense, 3-man rush. If you give any quarterback in this league time to throw, he's going to kill you. And that's what happened. He had no pressure on him at all. Now they're 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6.
They picked up 16 yards on the pass, so it's 3rd and 7 on the Viking 28-yard line. They started on their own 7, and they've been mired more by their own penalties than anything else. 3rd and 7 for Kramer. Tucker, the tight end, in motion to the right. Kramer looking right, setting up to go that way, and completes it to White at the 40-yard line. He beat Dungy. Sammy White made the big reception. He's caught at least one pass in every regular season game he's played, 45 straight games.
Watch him drive. He drove him off already. The ball, see him drive number 30 off Gray. The ball's thrown right into his body. Good protection for Kramer.
So the Vikings are on a move now. 1st and 10 on their own 41. They travel 34 yards to get here. Foreman is back in there. McClanahan started to move, but I don't believe they picked him off for it. McClanahan was down in his three-point stance and began to lean, and there's no flag.
Benny, we always felt when we had him down there in the hole, we couldn't let him out. We had to give our offense field position, make him punt. And this is a big drive for them now.
2nd and 9 on the Viking 43-yard line. We have 11:40 left to the half. No score. The closest San Francisco's aborted field goal attempt. It was a line drive right into the San Francisco line from the 37. So 2nd and 9 from the Viking 43. McClanahan and Brown, and here's Ted Brown on his first carry to midfield, spinning, first down for the rookie from North Carolina State, who gained over 4,000 yards in his career, 4th best behind Dorsett, Griffin, and Marinaro.
Just watching him on this, he has the speed to go outside, and he has the strength and the leg drive to go inside. He starts very quickly.
1st and 10 to the San Francisco 47. Ted Brown has been clocked doing the 60 and 6-1. And in the 40 and 4-5, at least that's what the press release says about him. He was so good, they retired his jersey at North Carolina State. The only other man, Roman Gabriel, had that honor.
He's still in there.
1st and 10 on the San Francisco 48. Kramer play action fake to Ricky Young, rolling right down the left side to White, and it hit his knee and knocked away. Melville Morgan was defending, but White kneed that thing on a line drive almost back to Kramer.
Well, here's a play action pass, partial rollout. Pretty good protection. This ball should have been caught. Vikings have dropped 2 passes and also an interception.
So 2nd and 10 for Kramer on the Niners 48-yard line. No score, 11 minutes and 12 seconds to the half. Rashad is right, White is left. Young and Foreman the running back. Kramer going in the air. Play action once, a lob to Young. And Young is going to be dragged down across the 45-yard line by Jimmy Webb.
You know, Benny, there probably isn't a team in football that has more good receivers than the Vikings, with Rashad and White and Tucker and Ricky Young and Foreman. They're not good receivers, they're great receivers.
You know, Young, Rashad, and Foreman each caught over 60. Young with 88 last year. Only the second trio in history to account for at least 30 receptions apiece. And, of course, you know who the others were. Messrs. Taylor, Smith, and Mitchell for the Redskins. 3rd and 6 on the 49er 43-yard line. White left, Rashad right. And in motion goes Cunningham, the tight end, to the left. Kramer throwing it out, juggled by Foreman, and he goes down juggling, and it is no reception. It was Tim Gray who hit him hard and decked him.
Well, he's going to his backs. The short passing game. Foreman again should have caught the ball, but he had no chance for the first down. He's inside outed. 59 and 30. Gray and
Ted Grad.
Harper.
Tim Gray, number 30, was a first-round draft choice for St. Louis. Then went to Kansas City, and now the 49ers picked him up. So 4th and 6 from the 44. Coleman will be punting from the Viking 42-yard line. Freddie Solomon along with Tony Dungy, and Dungy will let it hit, and it hit inside the 15 and then rolled into the end zone. And Ron Schumann came over to take a look at that. Watch Greg Coleman's reaction when the ball took first a fortuitous bounce, and then it went into the end zone. So with 10:07 to the half, Niners nothing, Vikings nothing. Greg Coleman's punt kicking into the end zone, so San Francisco will put it in play. 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. No score in the ball game with 10 minutes to go to the half. And now, once again, we'll take a look at Steve DeBerg. Solomon is wide right and Schumann left. This time it is Phil Francis, and in fact, check on that. Make that Mike Hogan, who just came into the ball game. Hogan, draft choice from Philadelphia. He was a 9th-round draft choice, and they picked him up. And Mike makes his first carry. That's Mike Schumann.
That's what you like to see. Wide receivers that block.
On Bobby Bryant, who felt that he was illegally blocked. So 2nd and 6 from the San Francisco 24. In motion is Paul Seal. And here goes Mike Hogan, and he runs right into Darrell Luce, and there's a flag on the play. Luce hit him straight up at the 25-yard line.
49ers running the ball now, first 2 downs. The Vikings in a 34 defense.
No score. San Francisco and Minnesota, each coming off a dismal exhibition series that saw the Vikings 0-4, scoring only 1 touchdown, that on a pass to Ahmad Rashad, and the 49ers were 1-3.
Number 81, offense.
So the tight end, Ken McAfee, was offside for San Francisco.
Interesting score here, Benny. Houston Oilers 6, Washington Redskins 3, 37-yard field goal by Mark Mosley in the 2nd quarter.
2nd and 6 on the 18-yard line for San Francisco. Mulaney, White, Holloway, and McNeil up front. Luce and Studwell backing up with Blair, the linebacker, coming up on the left side. In motion goes Hofer. DeBerg looking down the right side and going deep for Solomon. And Solomon slipped and went down inside the 40. Paul Krause finally falling on him. And Freddie Solomon, 5-year man out of Tampa, who came in the deal that sent Delvin Williams to Miami, a 44-yard pass play.
First big play of the ball game. Going deep on Turner. Pretty good catch. The ball was a little bit underthrown. If that ball would have been thrown a little longer, he might have scored on that.
In fact, Freddie Solomon finished up the exhibition season busting one against Seattle, but they don't count. This one does. 1st and 10 on the Viking 38. Solomon is left, Schumann right. And there's McAfee in motion, and here goes Mike Hogan.
Benny, 45, Mike Hogan was with the Eagles when I was in Washington. He's a good, steady back. Good blocker, hard runner. One man usually doesn't bring him down. I think they have a football player that can help him. He's not a outstanding football player, but he does everything well.
He was second to Wilbert Montgomery with the Eagles last year and ran for over 100 yards 3 times. 2 years ago, he caught an electrifying 51-yard touchdown pass against Dallas. So keep that number in mind. 45, Mike Hogan. 2nd and 8 from the 36 with McAfee, who's doing a lot of motion today. And DeBerg looking and in throwing no good. Krause almost picked it off. And for Paul Krause, he is only one interception away, and he's still one away. The record is 79 by Evelyn Tunnell. He has 78 in his career.
Here's an example where a quarterback has too much time to throw, and again, he was fortunate that ball wasn't picked off.
George, why are they using the tight end, Ken McAfee, in so much motion?
Well, by using the tight end in motion, it changes the strength of the offensive formation, forces the defense to call an audible, makes them hesitate a little bit. Motion creates some hesitation, delay, off balance on defense.
3rd and 8 on the Viking 36-yard line. No motion this time. DeBerg straight back and going down the right side and overthrowing his man, Paul Hofer.
Now, the Vikings blew a coverage. DeBerg had him wide open. That could have been a score.
Paul Hofer coming out of the backfield. Duck White was putting some pressure on DeBerg, and that was no doubt the reason why DeBerg missed Hofer. Duck White, who is 6'3" and 263, along with Dave Roller, are the two better men as far as putting some heat on the quarterback, so White did his job. 4th and 8 from the Viking 36-yard line. There's Jimmy Edwards deep for the Vikings on his own 10-yard line. He's the boy who misjudged that punt. And here is Melville, Dan Melville, the rookie out of California, his second professional punt.
Let's see the snap.
Fred Quillen, the snapper. Willie Harper is back there to block, and it might be too much time against San Francisco.
Well, he wants that to get better field position to kick out of bounds. That's why they ran the clock down.
So 4th and 13, and that'll move it back to the Viking 41.
Number 11, offense, 4th down.
Time left, 7 minutes, 46 seconds to the half. No score. The Vikings and the 49ers. The curtain raiser for 79. Buffalo leading Miami 7-0. A 76-yard blocked field goal attempt. Now the snap from Fred Quillen. And it's a good one. Melville, line drive punt. And Edwards lets this one bounce into the end zone. So he was burned once, but not a second time. So the Vikings will put it in play. 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. 7:39 to the half, no score. With 7:39 to the half, no score, the Vikings put it in play 1st and 10 from the 20. The same Vikings, remember, scored only 1 touchdown in 4 exhibition games. So they're the hungriest team around. Kramer is 5 for 10 for 59 yards. Foreman and Young are the setbacks, with Rashad left and White right. Kramer looks right, but then turns and throws to Rashad, and a one-handed grab brings him down by Eddie Lewis, who hit him at about the 28-yard line.
Swilly. Let's watch Swilly on this play, who replaced Tingelhoff, a great center, number 67. Watch him drop back. Good footwork. Now he sees who's coming and takes him on with good body lean, good leverage, number 72.
He took on that big Reuben Vaughn, who's 264. 2nd and 2 from the 28. In motion goes rookie Young. Kramer pitching back to Ted Brown. And Brown fumble. Still loose. San Francisco recovered the ball. So San Francisco recovering rookie Ted Brown's fumble on his 2nd carry. And we should mark this. Today matches the 1978 NFL leaders in turnovers. The 49ers had 63, the Vikings 51. They rank 1st and 2nd, and here comes the big one.
First big play of the ball game, first turnover. That's how you beat yourself. Well, let's see if they can take advantage of this field position.
So on the Viking 39, the big break, and the 49ers put it in play, 1st and 10. DeBerg to the 2nd man, and an end around to Solomon, back to DeBerg. It's a real flea flicker, and it goes for naught as Mark Mullaney brings DeBerg down at the 41-yard line. How about that play?
Everybody was covered. DeBerg did the right thing there. This is what we call a gadget play. It's a good play, and it's a nice area of the field to use. Bill Walsh used it in the right area of the field. However, everybody was covered. He did the right thing, run with the ball. If he'd been a little quicker, he'd have had some yardage.
First, he gave the ball to Lenville Elliott. He gave it to Solomon on the end around, and Solomon gave it back to DeBerg, and they lost 2 yards on it. So it's 2nd and 12 on the 41. Play action fake to Elliott. Heat by Duck White, and they set up a screen to Elliott. But coming at the 40-yard line, Matt Blair finally knocks him out of bounds at about the 38-yard line, and the screen busted up.
And that's a good call right in here. 2nd down and long. Try to pick up some of it with a screen. And Elliott, by the way, did a good job of running. He was hit right in here. Looked like he didn't have a chance. When he was with Cincinnati, Benny, I thought he was going to be a tremendous football player. And if he's sound and healthy, he'll help the 49ers.
They spot the ball on the Viking 37-yard line, where it's 3rd and 7 for Steve DeBerg and the 49ers. No score. In motion, the tight end, Paul Seal. DeBerg laying it out to Mike Hogan, and he's going to go to the 31st down. Inside the 30-yard line, Mike Hogan carrying for 49ers on the end of that pass from DeBerg, who is now 9 out of 14.
DeBerg is going back, looks downfield, and dumps it off. It's what we've been saying. The intermediate, the short passing ball game, this is what the Vikings have to stop. They have to play those backs a little tighter so they can't pick up that yardage after they catch the ball.
Well, 1st and 10 for the 49ers on the Viking 29. Remember, they recovered the fumble by Ted Brown on the 39, so they have just picked up the 10 they need. Hogan and Elliott, play action fake to Elliott, pressure from Blair, and it is dropped in. That's 2 for Paul Krause, who is the greatest interceptor in Viking history, number 2 in the NFL in history, and he dropped it.
Yeah, the Vikings are in a seam, are in a 34 defense, and Solomon's running what we call a seam pattern. The ball should not have been thrown, no chance to get it in there. DeBerg has been very fortunate in this ball game. He's thrown 3 interceptions.
1 to Matt Blair dropped, and 2 to Krause that would drop. So it is 2nd and 10 on the 29. Big break for the 49ers. DeBerg looking to his left, now keeps it inside the 30, upended at the 26. Duck White had 1 leg, and Mark Mullaney had the other, and they just made a wish.
Again, if DeBerg would have been a step quicker, he'd have had a few more yards. He did the right thing. He ran the ball. Nobody was open.
3rd and 8 from the Viking 27. So Steve DeBerg, 9 for 15 for 101 yards passing. And so far, his favorite receivers have been the backs. Jackson caught 4, Holford 3.
34 defense again.
And DeBerg looking over the middle, and he's got Lenville Elliott. Elliott on his feet at the 20, and is hit and knocked back. And it just depends where his forward motion, because it looked like he had first gotten the 1st down, and then he was drilled back. Lenville Elliott, 7-year man out of Northeast Missouri State. He was a 10th round draft choice for Cincinnati.
Look at the protection. He had all day to throw. Elliott's made 2 plays, both of them big plays.
And they mark it 1st down. So he had gotten it, and then he was hammered. And it'll be 1st and 10 on the Viking 18-yard line. Elliott did not play for Cincinnati much last year, had a broken collarbone, and he is celebrating his birthday today. He's 28 years old today, and he's playing.
He's got 10 more years.
Elliott goes out on a wing now, so Mike Hogan is a setback behind DeBerg. There's Elliott in motion. DeBerg rolling right, and Blair got him, but he held on to him. Blair almost knocked the ball loose, and DeBerg was just able to recover it before McNeil and Mullaney came along. Watch.
Well, play action, partial rollout. Nobody open. Knocked the ball loose. Then he got it right back in his hands again. Went for his wrist, knocked the ball loose. Another break for DeBerg.
So it is 2nd and 16 on the 24. No score with 4 minutes to go to the half. And DeBerg again going in the air. And this time it's partially deflected and then broken up, intended for Solomon, with Hannon and Studwell right there on Solomon.
Studwell made a good play here. They have to stop the passing game, the short passing game to the backs. See, he still has time to throw that football. Giving him too much time. There's, I don't know whether you can see it. Studwell had good position there, broke it up.
So it is 3rd and 16 for San Francisco on the Viking 24-yard line. Remember, the 49ers recovered the Ted Brown fumble on the Viking 39, and they're trying to cash it in. Elliott comes out now for the moment to talk, and here comes DeBerg setting up on a 3rd down, and he's got James Owens inside the 20-yard line, and that's borderline as to whether it made the first down or not. Not even close now. They'll go to Wershing. So Ray Wershing, who missed earlier with a line drive field goal attempt. That was from a spot on the 37. He's good from inside the 30.
He's pretty accurate in here.
And Montana will spot the ball at the 27. So it'll be a 27-yard field goal attempt for Ray Wershing. Down, the kick is up, the kick is good. So Ray Wershing, who was 7 for 7 last year inside the 30, is 1 for 1 this year. And with 3 minutes and 12 seconds to go to the half, 3-0 49ers. Ray Wershing, who just got San Francisco on the boards with a 27-yard field goal attempt, will tee it up on the 35. San Francisco 3 and the Vikings nothing. 3 minutes and 12 seconds to go to the half. Jimmy Edwards, a deep man, flanked by Miller and McClanahan. And Jimmy Edwards going in the end zone for the kickoff, and he'll keep it there. So the Vikings will put it in play from their own 20-yard line. And, of course, remember, the San Francisco field goal was set up by the fumble by rookie Ted Brown.
That was well kicked deep in the end zone, but he has the wind at his back. Strong wind blowing.
First and 10 Vikings from their own 20-yard line. So far, Ron Kramer is 6 for 11 for 67 yards, but nothing on the board. He has Foreman and Young with Rashad left, Sammy Whitewright, and Tucker, the tight end, on the right side. Kramer with Young staying in to block for a moment. Now they both release, and the pass to Young, and Harper brings him down immediately inside the 20-yard line.
Both teams are having trouble rushing the passer, giving the passer too much time to throw.
Kramer making only one other start. It was against Oakland in 1977. When he made that start, he became the first Minnesota quarterback since Ron Vanderkellen in '63 to start a game in his first year out of college. And he has waited since '77 against Oakland to go today. 2nd and 11, the ball on the Viking 19. 3-0 49ers, 2:27 to the half. Tucker, the tight end, in motion to the right. And Ricky Young is hit and dragged down by Jimmy Webb. Webb just broke through there and hammered him.
You know, the strength of this whole 49er team, in my opinion, is that defensive line. They have a pretty good defensive line. Denny, I think that those guys will get better as they play together. I think they're going to be real good against the run. They lack some pass rushing ability.
So the 2-minute warning for both sides. Vikings 3rd and 10 from their 20, and 49ers leading 3-0. With 2 minutes to go to the half, San Francisco leading Minnesota 3-0. The 49ers capitalizing on a Viking fumble by Ted Brown, and a 27-yard field goal by Ray Wershing put San Francisco on the scoreboard. So 3rd and 10 for Ron Kramer and the Vikes from the 20. Cunningham is wide left, White in a slot inside Rashad left, and Ted Brown is in there now. The pass over the middle off the left arm of Brown, and he might have been screened out slightly as Hilton was cutting across in front of him. So 4th and 10, a kicking situation for the Vikings, and their punter Greg Coleman will be coming in to punt yet again. The Vikings unable to get on track.
Good design pattern, little execution. It had a first down.
So there's Greg Coleman, 3-year man out of Florida A&M, who was a 14th round draft choice for Cincinnati a couple of years ago. Waived from Cleveland, picked up by the Vikes. He played 8 games for him last year. And Coleman hitting it over to the right side, and Freddie Solomon takes it on his own 41 to midfield of the Viking 45. Jim Huff hit him and knocked him down at the 45-yard line. So with 1 minute and 46 seconds to the half, the San Francisco 49ers 3 and the Minnesota Vikings 0. The Vikings on defense. The 49ers have it 1st and 10 on the Viking 45-yard line. San Francisco leading 3-0. Schumann, the wide receiver, to the left. McAfee, the tight end, on the right side. Freddie Solomon will go wide right. And you have Hogan and Elliott, the running backs behind DeBerg. Second man, Lenville Elliott, and he was pinched at the 45 and fell forward 2 yards. Randy Holloway, and at the bottom you'll find Scott Studwell.
We'll get a chance to see DeBerg in the 2-minute drill. The Vikings were in a 34 defense that time.
2nd and 8 on the Viking 43-yard line. DeBerg with Solomon on a slot on the left side. Over the middle, and he has got Mike Hogan. And Hogan bear wrestled down to the ground at about the 37. So he needs about 2 yards for the first down.
Again, Benny, it's the passes to the backs that are keeping the drive going.
In looking at his passes to the backs, he has thrown 3 passes to Wilbur Jackson, who had to pay the price, and we've not seen him. Say, a reminder, do you know how fast you have to go? Well, Stan Barrett will have to travel approximately 740 miles an hour to break the sound barrier. That ought to be something. Saturday on the 15th.
Vinny, a couple of scores here. The Eagles leading the Giants 20-3, and Dallas in the first quarter is leading St. Louis 3-0.
And Bill Walsh talking to Steve DeBerg, trying to get another drive going. You know, when DeBerg and Tommy Kramer were both drafted in '77, DeBerg didn't receive the fanfare accorded Kramer. DeBerg was the 16th quarterback chosen, and he was subsequently cut by the Dallas Cowboys. Kramer was the 2nd quarterback chosen behind Steve Pisarkowitz of the Cardinals. And now here they are going head-to-head. 3rd and 2 from the 37, 1 minute and 19 to the half, 3-0 San Francisco. Here goes Lenville Elliott. And Elliott bursting across for the first down. Paul Hofer, who started, had a bad hamstring going in, and he has re-injured it. So both Hofer and Wilbur Jackson, the starting backs, are hurt. Jackson with a pinched nerve in his neck. That's why we're seeing Hogan and Elliott. 1st and 10 with 57 seconds to go to the half. Here comes Lenville Elliott. He has Randy Cross in front of him, but he's caught from behind by McNeil and brought down by Turner and Roller.
49ers took timeout. They've used 2 now. They have one.
Second charge, timeout, San Francisco.
So 2nd and 10. The ball will be spotted at about the 26-yard line of the Vikings, and we have 43 seconds to the half, which gives us a chance to remind you about the CBS Sports Spectacular. You'll have Howard Davis against Termite Watkins, a 10-round lightweight bout. The Italian Grand Prix. The highlights will be televised, and we'll have a preview of the United States Roller Skating Championship that was held on August the 11th. All of that coming up on the CBS Sports Spectacular, September the 15th.
Benny, this is a very big series for the Vikings defense, for the Vikings. It's a big series for the 49ers. If the 49ers can get a touchdown here, with the way this game's been going, it would really give them impetus.
Of course, Kramer's greatest game was when he came off the bench.
Yes.
He was down 24-7, and he threw 3 touchdowns against the 49ers and wound up 2 years ago beating San Francisco 28-27. But it's tough to give that task to a youngster the first time out this year.
It's a lot different when you're starting and have everything your own responsibility.
2nd and 5 for San Francisco on the Viking 26-yard line. 43 seconds to the half. Lenville Elliott and Mike Hogan are the running backs. Freddie Solomon right. 2 tight ends, Seal and McAfee, and Solomon is in motion. DeBerg looking right and dumping off to Hogan at the 20-yard line. Still down to the 15-yard line. Mark Mullaney, number 77, riding him down. Mullaney, a 5-year man out of Colorado State. So Mike Hogan seeing a lot of work. 25 seconds to go. First and 10 on the 15-yard line. DeBerg in a hurry against the clock, and he's going to throw it out of bounds, intended for Solomon, but that'll stop it now with 16 seconds to go. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 15.
The big thing we used to tell our quarterback here, our offensive team, is don't throw the ball if you're in doubt. It's in a crowd. We don't want an interception.
George, a question. A fan would say, why don't you use a 2-minute drill all during the game?
Well, we have that question many times. No, you sometimes have a series where you don't have a huddle and you come out and run quick plays and try to take more out of the clock. But
Ray Wershing looking on, of course. His toe might be asked to kick another. He had a 27-yard field goal earlier for the only score in the game. But it's 2nd and 10 on the Viking 15.
Uh-oh.
And a penalty.
Now that's bad. That's bad.
Too much time.
Yeah.
Now that would be a blunder indeed for San Francisco. Yeah. Here's the call.
Delay of game, number 17, offense, 2nd down.
So the delay charge to DeBerg, 2nd and 15 from the 20. And remember, Wershing is most effective from inside the 30. 49 is very slow coming up to the line. Indecision. Hogan talking to DeBerg. Solomon is in motion now to the left. And DeBerg play action fake to Elliott, and he's going to Solomon at the 15 to the 10, knocked out of bounds at the 8-yard line.
10 seconds.
So with 10 seconds to go, Solomon gets it to the 8. DeBerg with enough time. He had Solomon in motion, and when he went in motion, he wasn't really picked up at all. And Bobby Bryant finally had to throw a block to take him out. So 3rd and 3 from the 8. The 49ers showing one of Bill Walsh's problems. He's had such a tremendous turnover in personnel. You get the feeling of indecision. Solomon on the wing. Elliott and Hogan are the running backs. Play action fake to Elliott. Now they lay it off to Hogan, and he's going to go out of bounds inside the 5 to the 4-yard line with 4 seconds to the half.
Yeah, they got to kick a field goal now.
So it's a San Francisco first down, but they are running out of time, and with 4 seconds to go, Ray Wershing will be asked to kick his 2nd field goal. Wershing kicked one from the 27-yard line. The ball down at the 4, and Montana will spot it at the 12-yard line. So a 12-yard field goal attempt by Ray Wershing. The spot by Montana, the kick is good. And so with 2 seconds left to go to the half, San Francisco leading the somewhat dispirited Minnesota Viking Ball Club 6-0.
Well, the Vikings...
Frustrated that you didn't get the touchdown, or you're just grateful to go in perhaps with 6?
I don't think they ever expected to be ahead at halftime. I think they should feel elated and a lot of enthusiasm. The Vikings got to figure out a way to put some points on the board.
The NFL regional games, Minnesota, Chicago, New Orleans, Green Bay, St. Louis, and the Giants, Washington, Detroit, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Dallas, San Francisco. Next Sunday, and be sure to consult your local listings for the game and time in your area. 6-0 in favor of San Francisco. Ray Wershing, 2 for 2. And Bill Walsh, in his first big league game as head coach, is leading 6-0 against veteran Bud Grant. Wershing from the 35, and he'll squib it, and it actually hit loose, and so it'll be downed at the 36-yard line. No return. Studwell fell on the ball, and that's at halftime. 6-0. San Francisco leading the Minnesota Vikings. Second half. San Francisco leading Minnesota 6-0, and a crowd of 48,000 in somewhat shocked disbelief. The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Hi, once again, everybody. Vin Scully along with George Allen at Metropolitan Stadium as you look at Bill Walsh in his first game as head coach of the San Francisco 49ers against the veteran Bud Grant, who's been here for 13 years. And it is 6-0 San Francisco on 2 field goals by Ray Wershing, one from 22 out and then the one from 37. So the 49ers, 2 out of 3 in field goals, and the Vikings have not generated any offense at all. In fact, the closest they have come to doing anything would be defensively, where they've dropped 3 possible interceptions, 1 by Matt Blair and 2 by Paul Krause. There seems to be, at least from up here, George, a lack of emotion down there, and I'm surprised.
Yes.
Young clubs, young quarterbacks in the first game of the year.
Opening game, both clubs are kind of walking around a little bit, moping. It's warm, the sun's out. That could be a factor. Vinny, I think on another phase of this game, I think Kramer can throw deep on the 49er defense. I think he's going to have to do that. They don't have much of a running game. The short passing game has been so-so. I think he can go deep with Rashad or Sammy White.
Well, we'll see now, George. As the Vikings are ready to kick it off, it'll be teed up by number 7, Rick Nanmeyer, and going deep for San Francisco for a possible return, James Owens, number 20, and Lenville Elliott, number 35. And, of course, it will be interesting if James Owens gets his hand on the ball.
Yeah, number 20.
He was the number 2 draft choice for San Francisco, rookie out of UCLA. The kickoff will go to Lenville Elliott at his 7-yard line, out to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, to the 30, to the 35, and brought down by Nanmeyer, who kicked off.
Lenville Elliott has made 3 plays today. He's going to be a real addition to this ball club.
By the way, a note on Nanmeyer, too, and it's a weakness. Last year, all 35 of Nanmeyer's kickoffs were returned, so evidently he doesn't have a leg to get it in the end zone, and he's going to pay the price here.
Lenville Elliott did that on his own. It was a wedge up the middle. He bounced outside. There was a missed tackle. He gave them pretty good field position.
1st and 10 on the 40-yard line. So DeBerg in pretty good position, and Duck White is offsides, and there goes Mike Hogan. But James White, who is too big to duck, 6'3" and 260, was very much offside.
Denny, what caused that is that the 49ers, the entire first half, been going on quick counts, on sound. This time, the first play of the second half, they went on a longer count.
And it fooled James White. So immediately the 49ers pick up 5 yards. That cuts their job in half. And we'll get the official call.
Offside, number 72, defense, 1st down.
So it's 1st and 5 for San Francisco. They're leading 6-0, and the ball is on the San Francisco 45-yard line. Let's set them offensively. Terry LeCount is wide left, and in motion goes McAfee. Solomon cutting across the middle, and the pass is to McAfee, and he's brought down by Paul Krause. Not quite enough for the 1st down. He has to get to the midfield stripe for the 1st down. They'll spot it at just inside the 48.
Well, the Vikings are using a 3-4 alignment to counter that short passing game, passes to the backs. That time they sent 81 McAfee in motion and then had him run a straight pattern.
Steve DeBerg had 1 year of junior college and only 1 year of big-time major college football at San Jose State. He really is a rookie. Here's Lenville Elliott finding a hole, a good run as he got across the 45. Krause along with McNeil and Turner having to bring him down, and Elliott must be a pleasant surprise.
Nice blocking, good hole there. Lowered his shoulder, good body lean. They came off of the ball well. This first series is a big one.
And they've moved the ball to the Viking 44. Ducking a score here with Houston down now. Washington 17 and Houston 13. In motion is Freddie Solomon to the left. DeBerg going down the left side to Schumann, who's spun around by Stidwell after being hit by Krause, and Stidwell finally brings him down. So that got to the 42-yard line, a pickup of about 2.
Vinny,
2nd and 8.
As long as DeBerg has been staying with the short passing game, he's doing a real good job. Now, that doesn't mean he can't go long, but that's what's been their pass offense, is the short passing game.
2nd and 8-yard line on the Viking 42, and you have Terry LeCount on the right side and Freddie Solomon on the left. Lenville Elliott with Randy Cross and Mike Hogan blocking for him, but he was caught from behind before he can get to the 40-yard line, and Matt Blair was the man who caught him and brought him down.
We always felt that whether you were behind or ahead, the first series of the third quarter was vital. If you were behind like the 49ers, your defense had to stop them. They could not allow them to put points on the board. Because if they do now, your whole ball club goes down.
So the 49ers leading 6-0 of a 3rd and 7 on the Viking 41. Schumann is wide left. And in motion goes Solomon. And DeBerg looking towards Solomon, dumps to Hogan, and he's inside the 35, picked up the first down just shy of the 30-yard line. And Mike Hogan is playing a big role in this game after Wilbur Jackson was hurt early in the first quarter. Here's John Turner, number 27. You see him taking that drop, and they've been zeroing in right in that soft spot. And here comes Hogan making another good run after the pass to the 31-yard line of the Vikings, 1st and 10. Solomon again goes to the right, and here's Mike Hogan running straight ahead inside the 30 for a tough yard or two.
Well, they're mixing their calls pretty good. They're mixing the running game in there, so the Vikings just can't play pass defense and tee off. They're throwing the short passes, and I'm sure he's going to set them up and try to go into the end zone deep.
Well, they move the ball to the Viking 28-yard line. That'll make it 2nd and 7 for Steve DeBerg, with the 49ers leading the Vikings 6-0. This really hurts here in Minnesota. We'll tell you why in a moment. DeBerg turning quickly, throwing over the middle, and it's dropped. Freddie Solomon unable to hold on to it, and Solomon had it right at the chest and hands and couldn't hold it.
Yeah, that was well executed, except the receiver didn't catch the ball. Good call in there. Their passing game, we've talked about Turner, number 27, is a little bit deep. Let's watch him backpedal. He's giving him some room. Wide open in there.
Solomon, who dropped a few last year, enough to get a lot of boos, drops a sure catch that time. So it is 3rd and 7 on the Viking 28. That would have been a big play. DeBerg with the back staying in and releases to Elliott. He's trying to outrun Studwell, and Studwell makes a good tackle to bring him down. We just want to mention why this is so important. There was a Minnesota Viking team telecast last night, and a couple of former Vikings on television referred to San Francisco, quote, as the worst team we have ever seen in the NFL. That show was on the air just about the time that San Francisco came to town. So I'll bet you that had to help Bill Walsh and get the adrenaline pumping for the 49ers.
Well, you like to hear some of that. It hurts you, but it's good psychological warfare. Let's watch the holder and the snap.
Ray Wersching is a little bit out of his range right now from the 34-yard line. He got a lot of foot into it, however, and kicks it through. So they spotted the ball at the 34, and Wersching is 3 for 3 today, and the 49ers leading the Vikings 9-0. Ray Wersching has kicked 3 straight field goals after first kicking a line drive that was blocked. Wersching's latest a 44-yard field goal, and the 49ers are leading 9-0. So Ray ready to kick, 9:59 to go in the third quarter. And he hooks it down to Jimmy Edwards on the 7-yard line, to the 15, to the 20, stumbling at the 25 and went under and then left the ball behind him, and he had to go back and get it. So Jimmy Edwards having his problems fighting the sun on those high kicks.
Yeah, here's 52, Joe Harris. Watch him make his block. He stays right after him. He doesn't let up. He's still using his arms in there. He's a second effort football player.
Joe Harris, formerly with San Francisco, and now he's pushing the 49ers around a little. 1st and 10 for the Vikings on their own 26-yard line. And Ron Kramer now knows what it's like to have a crowd stony-faced watching him. Kramer has it broken up. He had Hardman and Webb in there on top of it, and they just smothered it.
The only thing, when you're going at this pace that the Vikings are, you need a big play. A big play gives everybody confidence, enthusiasm, no matter how you get it, whether it's a run or a pass or an interception, block kick. They need a big play to get some field position and get going.
A reminder, too, the U.S. Open live tennis immediately after football. Bruce Manson against Jimmy Connors. So it's 2nd and 10 now on the Viking 26-yard line. McClanahan is in there with Foreman, and it'll be Brent McClanahan. Foreman blocking Gray, and that gets him out across the 25 to about the 28-yard line. Tony Dungy coming up to make a hit, and Reuben Vaughn was right there to make sure that was the end of the play.
The 49ers were in a 34 defense on first down. Last down, second down, they were in a 43 defense. So they're varying their defense with what they think the situation could be.
Bud Grant, stony-faced, and no doubt getting a little hungry for some points now. 9-0 49ers. It's 3rd and 8 on the Viking 28-yard line. Cunningham is wide right. Foreman in there to block, and Kramer releasing to McClanahan, and Hilton hits him, but he's still on his feet. Gets away from Lewis, and then staggered out of bounds for the first down, I believe. Great second effort by Brent McClanahan.
33, McClanahan did this on his own. They had him stopped short of a first down. Now watch this second effort. Great catch to begin with. Now watch him lower his shoulder. The difference on defense is they didn't lock their arms, didn't wrap their arms around him. They tackled with their shoulder and didn't use their arms.
So they'll measure and see if McClanahan was able to back across and get his first down. For the Vikings, they have just not had any kind of a drive. Now they pick up their first down, and Tommy Kramer trying to get him moving. Tommy Kramer, one of 11 kids. He had 3 brothers who were quarterbacks. In fact, his dad coached Texas Lutheran for 6 years. So he's a football man from a football family. And now we'll see about his heritage. It's on the line in this opening game in '79. Tommy brings the Vikes out, 1st and 10 on their 36-yard line. Rashad is inside wide in a slot right. McClanahan is on the left side, Tucker on the right, Miller going out looking, and Kramer going down to Sammy White, who made the reception out of bounds.
Let's see that again, see if he's in or out.
The side judge had a perfect view.
A sprint out. Good throw. Looks like he's in. Hard to tell. The throw brought him out, but it looks like he's in. Maybe he's on the line there. You can't tell.
No, you can't.
His left foot might be on the line.
So it's 2nd and 10 from the 36. White is inside Rashad left, and McClanahan motion right. Kramer under heavy pressure and throws it into the dirt. And boy, was he being eaten up. He had Harper, Vaughn, and Hilton all bearing down on him. Bud Grant trying to come up with Cunningham and Ricky Young now, ready to send them in with a play. So Tommy Kramer, 3 years out of Rice, first-round draft choice in '77, and it's been a struggle. Tommy is 8 for 17 for 74 yards, and he has not really engineered any kind of a drive all day. 3rd and 10 from the Viking 36-yard line. White inside Rashad. Young is in there with Foreman. Cunningham wide left, picked up by Lewis. Kramer to the side, and Morgan finally got him down, but there's a flag on the play. The preliminary signal holding against Minnesota.
49ers were in their nickel defense. Good protection for Kramer. Vikings offensive line been doing a good job protecting.
Well, that time a holding penalty against Minnesota after a completion to Ahmad Rashad. It would have been a big play. Here's the call.
Holding, number 78, offense, 3rd down.
That's Steve Riley. 6 years out of USC, and Riley was guilty of holding. So Kramer is stymied after apparently completing to Ahmad Rashad, and it's 3rd and 20 from the Viking 26, which is where all this started.
They just brought Edwards in, Vinny. 32.
So Jimmy Edwards in there along with Chuck Foreman as the backs are bringing in the plays. Cunningham is right, Rashad left. 3rd and 20 from the Viking 26. Kramer releasing to Jimmy Edwards, and he's brought down by Tim Gray. Gray hit him immediately and made a good tackle. Wouldn't let him go.
Real good tackle, a picture tackle. They were in a 34 defense, which is great for this screen pass. Watch this tackle now. Locked him up and brought him down. Good play by Gray, number 30.
Brought him down on the Viking 28, so it's 4th and 18. Greg Coleman will be in to punt. Going deep for the San Francisco 49ers would be Solomon and Dungy. Coleman angling it over, and it'll be Solomon from the 35, and runs into a crowd at about the 37, and there's a flag on the play. 9-0 San Francisco. Remember, the Vikings were favored by at least a touchdown going into this ball game, so it's a shocking game, particularly in Minnesota.
More than a touchdown, yes. 4.0 hang time on that punt.
The penalty will be against San Francisco. So Bill Walsh Walsh, of course, has a lot of exposure in the NFL. He was a backfield coach at Oakland in '66, the Bengals under Brown for 8 years, San Diego under Prothro,
Holding,
and now he's head
number
coach.
29 on the run back. First down.
Holding against John Brister. So we've got 7 minutes, 41 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. San Francisco on 3 field goals, 9, Vikings nothing. A rather unusual picture. Shirt sleeve weather in Minnesota. And the Vikings are losing 9-0 with 7:41 to go in the 3rd. New Orleans leading Atlanta 14-10. Atlanta just scored. Bartkowski, a 20-yard pass to Alfred Jenkins. 1st and 10 for San Francisco on their own 25-yard line. Mike Hogan all alone with Elliott in motion, and here goes Hogan over the right side, and Duck White picks him down at the 30-yard line. So they'll pick up 5 to make it 2nd and 5.
2 tight ends that time, Benny, with motion, good running formation. Gives the defense another gap to fill.
So Steve DeBerg has gotten his club on the scoreboard 3 times with field goals from Ray Wersching. Wersching last year was 18 for 25. Wersching is 3 for 4 today. And so the 49ers are leading. 2nd and a long 4 from the 31. A flag on the play, and there goes Mike Hogan across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Krause and Blair in on the tackle, and Mark Mullaney hit him first. DeBerg is doing well enough, so Joe Montana, the rookie out of Notre Dame, who had 25 touchdowns in his career at the Golden Dome, he has to stand on the sideline and sweat it out.
75 defense.
6'3", 200-pounder. He was a 3rd-round draft choice for San Francisco this year, and he will just have to wait.
Lenny, what has to happen for the Vikings to get back in here? Their defense has to make a big play. They have to take the ball away.
1st and 10, San Francisco on their own 37-yard line, and the running backs remain Hogan and Elliott. DeBerg looking left and then throws it low. Holloway was on top of DeBerg, and DeBerg threw it down at the feet. Jim Marshall, who was shaken up early, man who has spent 20 years in the NFL, evidently okay, but he's not back in there. Holloway playing for him. He's Jim, the defensive captain. 2nd and 10 for San Francisco on their own 37. 9-0 San Francisco. 6:57 to go in the 3rd. Seal and McAfee, 2 tight ends. In motion goes Solomon. DeBerg to Lenville Elliott. He has Ayers and Cross blocking, and they can't quite get him. John Ayers and Randy Cross had both pulled.
Another flag.
Studwell broke through, and there's a flag on the play. Chuck Muncie has just broken loose for 69 yards, and New Orleans is out on top 21-10 over Atlanta. 5.5 of the second quarter. That's Tony Dungy and O.J. Simpson. O.J. not figuring to play for a while. He has gone through both physical, mental, and heartache.
Legal motion, number 88,
well.
offense,
If they can,
declined, third down.
if they can win this game without O.J., he should be ready next week for Dallas. He'll give him a big lift.
This will be a big lift indeed for San Francisco, leading Paul Hofer, who came out with a hamstring, and Hofer is not coming back for the rest of this game. He might be out for a while. 3rd and 8 from the San Francisco 39. Solomon to the right. Terry LeCount is on the left side. In motion goes Hogan. And DeBerg to Hogan, and he is brought down by John Turner. So Turner, who's been playing everybody so loose, that time was right there to pick up the man in motion man, Mike Hogan.
The defense allowed him to play the front zone. He was right there. Good tackle, good position. That's the way you have to play those passes to the backs.
Of course, John Turner, you can understand him being loose. It's only his 2nd year. Last year, he had a broken foot and still managed to play 14 games. Jimmy Edwards, deep to receive. Dan Melville, in his rookie game, has punted a couple of times and done well. Melville from his own 27 under a rut, and he just did get it off. It'll hit on the 35. Edwards lets it roll, and it takes a 49er bounce. Look at there. Down to the 12-yard line. So San Francisco leading a charmed life, and they get the bounce.
I never wanted that ball to roll.
9-0, 49ers.
Now, the best zenith ever, System 3, is even better.
Howard Davis versus Termite Watkins, 10-round lightweight bout, the feature of the CBS Sports Spectacular on Saturday, September the 15th. The Vikings in poor position put it in play 1st and 10 from their own 12. 5:55 left in the 3rd. 9-0 San Francisco. Foreman and Young behind Tommy Kramer. And Kramer to Young, who gets out to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, to the 30, and they take him down at about the 34-yard line. 1st down, Vikings, and a flag on the play.
Well, here's a play from the I formation. Good play by 34 Young. And this is possible because the weak side linebacker pursued over and fouled him in. He bounced outside. This woke everybody up. That's the big play they need to get going. Your linebackers on the I formation have to stay at home.
So it is a big play indeed as we get the call. Here it is, following the run by Young.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 30, late hit out of bounds. First down.
Tim Gray has a late hit out of bounds. You can see number 30 on the right of your screen. There's Lewis 22, and there's the hit by Gray.
Hit him out of bounds.
He was already out of bounds. So that gives the Vikings their biggest gain to their own 48. They picked up 36 yards on that play. Tommy Kramer going to the left to Rashad, and he gets by Lewis. He not only beat Lewis, he faked him out for a touchdown. And Eddie Lewis has to be highly embarrassed. The 4-year man out of Kansas was really taken out.
Yeah, a routine play. Lewis let him juke him. The defensive back's rule is turn him inside. Don't let him get outside. All that pursuit is lost, wasted.
No way Dan Buns could catch him. So in 2 plays, the Vikings, with a penalty plus, go 88 yards for a touchdown. Dan Meyer's kick is good, and we got a wild one now. San Francisco 9, Vikings 7, and there you see Eddie Lewis on the other side of Archie Reese, and he is hurt to his toes. They've come alive at Metropolitan Stadium all because of this play. The pass, the fake on Lewis, and adios, Ahmad Rashad. And now the ball clubs are really showing some emotion, and the crowd has come alive for the first time today. 9-7 San Francisco as the Vikings went 88 yards on 2 plays and a penalty. Dan Meyer kicking off. Coming up for it will be Lenville Elliott at the 10, to the 20, 25 as he got away from Nord's tackle, and then he is gang tackled. Some emotion inside the 25-yard line, and the Vikings are alive now, and it's up to San Francisco to bounce back. And there he is to prove it. Washington leading Houston 27-13 on a 39-yard field goal by Mark Mosley. Dallas 10-0 over St. Louis, and now St. Louis picks up a touchdown to make it 10-7. Now let's see about the 49ers. 1st and 10 on their own 25-yard line. Hogan and Elliott. In motion is Paul Seal. DeBerg pitching to Hogan with a block from Elliott, and he got around Studwell and then ran out of bounds. And all of a sudden, the complexion of the game has changed.
New game. Totally new game, and the pressure's on DeBerg now. He has to do something to move the ball, get field position, maybe kick a field goal. Here's where the Viking defense comes alive.
So he picked up 2 yards to the 49ers. It's 2nd and 8 on the San Francisco 27. In motion is McAfee. DeBerg to Elliott, and he got away from Bobby Bryant, but look at that tackling now. Great pursuit by Minnesota.
They're alive.
Jim Marshall, 20-year veteran, doing a little cheerleading on the sidelines, and for the first time, it's as if somebody just pumped up this whole ballpark. And the 49ers trying to hold on to what was a 9-0 lead, and it's suddenly 9-7. It'll be 3rd and 8 from the 27.
Let's see what he does. See if he throws to the backs.
Big play for DeBerg. Solomon right, Schumann left, Seal on the right side. Hogan in motion. DeBerg to Hogan, and Turner is there, and Blair brings him down, and look at that emotion from the Vikings.
They got him going now.
Boy, what one play will do, George.
Played that perfect. Same play again. Good defense, perfect position.
Now with all that emotion coming from the Vikings, that's going to put more pressure on Dan Melville while DeBerg listens to Bill Walsh.
You know what I used to worry about was my punt returner handling the ball properly right now.
It's Jimmy Edwards who's standing inside the Viking 30, and we'll see if they're coming. They have 10 men on the line. They are not getting through, and Melville with time. Edwards, however, has room to let it bounce inside the 40 to the 30, and that slows things up. Again, a 49er bounce to the 26-yard line. So the Vikings put it in play, 1st and 10 on their own 26. Next week, NFL regional games: Minnesota, Chicago, New Orleans, Green Bay, St. Louis and the Giants, Washington, Detroit, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Dallas, San Francisco. Consult your local listings for the game and time in your area. So the Vikings went 88 yards in 2 plays the last time they had the ball. Now they have it 1st and 10 on their own 26. And it's Walsh who has to come up with the defense. Young and Brown in the backfield. White in a slot right inside Rashad. And it's Ted Brown with Hamilton blocking for him. He blocks Gray, and Brown goes out of bounds with a flag on the play. Wes Hamilton going after Tim Gray to make the play work. And a couple of Vikes are hot now.
I think it's just crackback block here.
Gary and Swilly.
Right there. Yeah.
So Ted Brown going out of bounds, and the Vikings were furious. Bob Tucker had to be restrained, the tight end. And the penalty against the Vikes.
Ted Brown looks like the type of back the Vikings need. The type of back Tommy Mason was when he came up. Can go inside or outside.
Holding, number 38, offense, first down.
And that's why Tucker was so angry, because the holding call was charged against the tight end. Bob Tucker, 10 years in the NFL. He was originally a Giant draft choice. Boy, was he hot. So first and 20 on the Vikings 16. Remember, the last time they started on the 12 and in 2 plays scored. Kramer over the middle to Tucker. And Tucker is brought down by Harper. And Harper was brought down by his teammate Hilton, who hit him from behind.
Well, he's trying to get the first down of picking up 5-6 yards at a time. Not trying to get it all in one play.
Boy, Harper really took a lick from his teammate. Hilton hit him right in the small of the back, but he's all right. So second and 14 on the Viking 22-yard line. Cunningham is left. White and Rashad right. Kramer looking left, looking for Cunningham, and he's got him out of bounds at the 34-yard line, just shy of the 35.
Well, they seem to be working over there on the right corner on Lewis. They got to give him a little help with the linebacker so he doesn't have to worry about that out pattern.
So it's 3rd and 1. The ball on the Viking 34-yard line. So Tommy Kramer trying to keep his ball club on the move. He had a severe concussion last year, being tackled by Jim Youngblood of the Rams. Coming back now to prove that he belongs. For Doug Cunningham, that was his first catch as a pro. 3rd and 1 for Kramer and the Vikings. Tucker goes to the other side. Gray picks him up. Foreman going for the first down. He's got it. He's riding Lewis out of bounds. So Chuck Foreman runs for the first down. Foreman, who suffered a knee injury against the Bears last year, had one of his poorest years, ran for 749 yards, a big carry.
The right side of the 49ers defense has been getting hooked, been getting swept.
So it's 1st and 10 on the Viking 41. They went from their own 26 to their own 16 and now out to the 41. McClanahan deep out of the eye. And it's McClanahan with Archie Reese hitting him from the side. And that's the end of that story. Reese, number 78, 2-year man out of Clemson. He was a walk-on. Archie made the play. Of course, taking over for Cleveland Elam, who's in Detroit. So it'll be 2nd and 10 on the Viking 41-yard line. 9-7 San Francisco. 2 minutes, 17 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Tommy Kramer making his 2nd start in the NFL. Sammy White to the right, Rashad left. Tucker's on the right side. Play action to Ricky Young. Kramer setting up. And all alone is Sammy White. Gray knocks him out of bounds, but it's a first down at the San Francisco 37. And again, we get back to the point we made at the start of the game. Tony Dungy from Pittsburgh, Tim Gray from Kansas City. They've only been with the 49ers about 4 days.
Right, they're in a double zone. And he beat the deep man, the second man, on a short corner pattern. If you don't jam that guy up front, the deep man can't cover him.
Ted Brown is in there now with Ricky Young. 1st and 10 on the San Francisco 37. And here comes Ted Brown with Goodrum blocking for him. But the 49ers slipped Goodrum's block. At the bottom is Harper. And Dan Buns had him on the top.
Vinny,
Archie Reese.
Here's where leadership on offense and defense is so important. The tide has changed.
New Orleans 28 and Atlanta 17. Chuck Muncie 3 yards out. So with 1:26 left in the 2nd quarter, 28-17 New Orleans.
49ers defense is going down. You notice how they broke the huddle that time?
2nd and 5 on the San Francisco 32. The Vikings are on a move. 9-7 49ers. Kramer going deep to Rashad. He's got it. Touchdown. I think they would have penalized Eddie Lewis anyway, but Rashad had the touchdown. And Eddie Lewis was wrong no matter what he does.
Well, they went for an all-out blitz, a safety blitz. It's one-on-one. He had him beaten. Rashad ran a corner. When you
Pass
go all out,
interference. Number 22, defense, declined, touchdown.
So naturally, the penalty against Lewis is declined. It is 13-9 Vikings. They scored 13 points after being shut out 9-0 with about 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Dan Meyer was 36 out of 37 points last year, and he's 2 for 2 today. And the Vikings lead the 49ers 14-9.
well, it's a safety blitz. Very risky. When you go with that many men, you better get them. It's one-on-one. A fine receiver like Rashad is difficult to carry one-on-one.
Rashad, the only player to catch 50 or more each of the last 3 years. He had 8 touchdowns last year, a Viking record. And now he picks off that one at the expense of Eddie Lewis. And the Vikings down 9-0 have come from behind to lead 14-9.
Denny, we were talking earlier. We said we thought Kramer had us throw deep. He had to open up and throw deep.
Both times to Rashad, both times against Eddie Lewis. Once Rashad just faked Lewis out. The other time, of course, as you called it, George, they were penalized on that safety blitz.
That's a defense I very seldom use. I didn't want to go all out and take a chance for a big play. I'd rather rush with 4 and cover with 7.
And especially you're leading at the time. You gamble and it explodes.
It's a real gamble.
The Rick Danmeyer, remember his kickoffs have all been returned last year and again today. He doesn't kick them too deep. James Owen and Linville Elliott deep for the 49ers. And Elliott is going to have a chance to run it back from the 5, 15. Nord missed him, so he's to the 20. And down he goes shy of the 25. Robert Miller hit him to bring him down.
Well, Linville Elliott left his blocking, and when you do that and run laterally, usually you don't make any extra yardage. You usually lose yardage.
A rookie almost got him, Keith Nord. He just did get away from him.
Unless you got great speed and can outrun all that pursuit.
1st and 10 for San Francisco on its own 24. And Steve DeBerg faced with a considerable challenge. He's down by 5 points. His ball club has lost the initiative with 11 seconds to go in the third, and the chant of defense. Linville Elliott running into a crowd still on his feet, gets out across the 30-yard line. In case you were not with us earlier, Wilbur Jackson and Paul Hofer started for San Francisco. Jackson suffered a pinched nerve in his neck, Hofer a hamstring. So it's been Hogan and Linville Elliott ever since. So that's the end of the third quarter with the score. Minnesota 14, San Francisco 9. We now pause for a word from your local station.
This is CBS.
For San Francisco at the start of the fourth quarter, the ball on the San Francisco 31-yard line, and Steve DeBerg trying to regroup and get his ball club going. They led 9-0, but now it's 14-9 Vikings. Solomon inside, Schumann to the right. The running backs, Francis is in there now, along with Linville Elliott, and Elliott gets out across the 35-yard line. Randy Holloway was on his back.
First down.
He just did move it out for the first down, and now Bill Walsh talking to his tight end Paul Seal and sending Seal in with a play. So Bud Grant has been using his backs all day carrying in the plays, and Seal brings in one. We've got 14 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the game. The Minnesota Vikings 14, San Francisco 9. While we're away on that last play, Ken McAfee was hurt. McAfee, who suffered a knee injury last year, and the first guess from up here would be he re-injured that knee, which is bad news indeed for San Francisco. It is 1st and 10 for the 49ers. The ball just over their own 35-yard line. LeCount is left and Solomon right. In motion is Seal, the tight end. Back staying into block, and DeBerg down the middle, and it's intercepted by Turner. Turner to the 45 to midfield. Hit, spun, and down he goes. It was James Owens who finally brought him down, but John Turner, the man they figured to pick on, comes up with the interception.
Now the ball was a little bit underthrown. They used motion on the play. You can't see it. Seals was in motion. He's looking at his receiver all the way. See how the ball's underthrown? The receiver
so Turner takes it away, and here come the Vikes again. Don't forget, live immediately after football, the United States Open tennis from Forest Hills, Jimmy Connors versus Bruce Manson. But right now, it's the Vikings and the 49ers. The Niners scoring 6 points in the second quarter and 3 in the third, led the Vikings 9-0. Only see the Vikings score 2 touchdowns in about less than 3 minutes to take a 14-9 lead. And now the interception by John Turner makes it 1st and 10 Vikings on the 49er 47-yard line. Robert Miller is the only setback, and he releases, and Tommy Kramer going deep to Sammy White. And Sammy White out of bounds all the way. And he's reminded by Charles Cornelius.
Well, Benny, if you recall, we thought Kramer could go deep on him, and that's what he's doing now. He's loosening him up. Good pass. Looks like he could have stayed in.
Well, Sammy White evidently losing his balance. He also might have been fighting the sun. That's a tough spot of the field. You can see the shadows going that way. He was looking into it. So it is 2nd and 10 on the 47-yard line. White is right, Rashad is left. Kramer to the second man, Ricky Young. And Young is across the 40. He's still on his feet at the 35.
Well, here's another shot of that previous play. Very close.
By the way, the first report we get on McAfee, it was not his knee, so that might be a blessing. It was his right ankle. So Ken McAfee lost to the 49ers. 1st and 10 on the 36-yard line of San Francisco. Sammy White inside Rashad left. Pitch back to Foreman. They had a safety blitz on, and Tim Gray was being picked up by Ron Yeri, and I think that's where the penalty is. It'll be against 73 Ron Yeri for hooking Tim Gray on the blitz, I believe.
So far, the momentum has changed completely. It's all Vikings. 49ers are just hanging on right now.
Here's the official call.
Holding, number 73, offense. First down.
That's what it was. Yeri trying to keep safety Tim Gray out of there, and he was guilty. That's the second time that Ron Yeri has been guilty, and of course, he's a 12-year veteran.
Usually in games like this, now when you've been ahead and you get behind, the defense has to turn it over again.
1st and 20 for Tommy Kramer on the San Francisco 46-yard line. Tucker in motion to the left. Kramer looking left and goes to Foreman, and he got away from Hilton before Buns comes over to save him, because Scott Hilton let him get away.
Kramer's showing a lot more confidence now. He's completed a few passes and throwing the ball with authority. Foreman makes a nice play, spins away.
He picked up 10 with that second extra burst, so it is now 2nd and 10. The ball on the San Francisco 36-yard line. 12:40 left in the game, 14-9 Vikings. Rashad goes right inside White. Ricky Young playing a tight end position. Robert Miller all alone. And Kramer going to set up a screen to Tucker. And Tucker's to the 25, to the 20-yard line. And finally, Dan Bunz brings him down. First down on the San Francisco 20-yard line. A screen to Bob Tucker.
Tucker does that better than anybody in football. He slow blocks on it. Makes like he's blocking a linebacker, and then he releases. Good execution, a fine call. Excellent call. Big play to keep the drive going.
Dennis Swilly made a pretty good block as well on Tony Dungy. That helped. So first and 10, the ball just inside the 20. Rashad goes left and White right. Ted Brown is up in front of Ricky Young. It'll be Ricky Young. He was trying to follow Steve Riley, number 78, but Riley couldn't get off his block, and Young didn't have anywhere to go. So a pickup of maybe one. Jimmy Webb was the man to stack up the play. Scott Hilton gave him some help. So fresh backs again with a new play. Robert Miller and Chuck Foreman come in. Ricky Young and Ted Brown go out.
49ers call all their defenses from the sidelines and call all their offensive plays by messages.
2nd and 9 from the 18. White inside Rashad right. Tucker is on the left side. Both backs go out, so Kramer is going to go to Robert Miller. And Bunz brings him down inside the 10-yard line to the 8-yard line. And the Vikings are really on the move with 10:48 left. Dan Bunz, the linebacker, having to bring down Robert Miller.
Too far for him to go. If that's his coverage, middle linebacker can't get over there and make that play. Unless he cheats over there.
So it is first and goal from the 8. 10:25 left to go in the game, and the Vikings suddenly inspired. They were really flat, but now they're on the move again. Sammy White goes left with Rashad. McClanahan and Foreman are the setbacks behind Tommy Kramer. Chuck Foreman trying to get outside, but he can't make it. Jimmy Webb, number 74, hitting him first. So Foreman unable to move it. How has Chuck Foreman been doing today? Well, let's check his numbers. 11 carries for 40 yards. Not quite 4 a carry.
You know, the way to stop sweeps like that is penetrate, get across, and that's what the 49ers did. 49ers defense have to know here. They got to stop them. They can't give them a touchdown if they're going to win this ball game. That's how they have to think and be talking.
2nd and goal. The ball on about the 9-yard line, so they just about lost a yard on that last play. McClanahan and Foreman behind Kramer. Tommy's going to put it up. And he's going to lob it to Foreman. No good. And again, you had a linebacker on a back, Scott Hilton, trying to cover Foreman, and he just let him a hair too much.
Yes, and Scott Hilton's not real nimble. He's a good athlete, but he's not agile. That's tough coverage for him.
Hilton is tall. He's 6'4", but as you can see, the pass was over his head. Foreman got his hands on it and couldn't hold it.
Chuck usually catches those.
So they had Robert Miller going on Dan Bunz, the linebacker. Now they had Chuck Foreman going on Scott Hilton, and it's 3rd and goal again. And an official's timeout with 9:18 left to go in the game. And there's the reason why. That would be Ken McAfee. We told you his right ankle. And McAfee, who was out with a bad knee last year, down in the opening game of '79. A terrible break for the son of a man who was such a great football player and a youngster who is just starting off on what could be a great career in his own right. We wish him well. 3rd and goal from the 8. Ted Brown is in there with Robert Miller. Kramer quickly leading Rashad. Touchdown. And that time he beat Melville Morgan. And Rashad has scored 3 touchdowns. This one over Melvin Morgan.
Perfect execution. We call this pattern a step and go. He just lays it up there. And the receiver catches it over his outside shoulder, away from the defender. The worst you should get out at is an incomplete pass.
Melvin Morgan, formerly from Cincinnati. He was beaten, and it is now 20-9 Vikings. Ahmad Rashad has scored 3 touchdowns, twice over Eddie Lewis, and this time over Morgan. And Dan Meyer is perfect again. And the Vikings leading San Francisco 21-9. We have 9 minutes and 13 seconds left to go in the ball game, and somehow the 49ers are going to have to find goals. And the Vikings leading by 12. Rick Danmeyer teeing it up. And for the 49ers, they're going to have to rally and do it quickly. Lenville Elliott and James Owens are deep. Owens number 20, Elliott 35. And Danmeyer ready to kick off from the 35. 9 minutes and 13 seconds left. This one is heading for Lenville Elliott at the 5. To the 15, to the 20, and that's all.
Vinny, we talked, you asked me why they don't run their 2-minute offense more. Well, a repetition of outs kills the clock, makes a longer game. You can't call many audibles in a 2-minute drill. You get a different type of defense in 2 minutes than you normally would. The defense is looser. They're giving you yardage, you see. They're playing for the pass, and you can't keep up that pace for 3 hours also in a 2-minute offense.
All right, we'll see what kind of a pace the 49ers can keep up with 9 minutes left. DeBerg with Solomon in the slot inside Schumann left. Francis is in the backfield. The pass is going to Schumann, and Bobby Bryant takes him down inside the 25 at about the 23-yard line. So a gain of 3 to 4, depending upon how they spot it.
This is what you want on defense right now. You've got a nice lead. It's the 4th quarter. You're ahead 21-9. Pass, rush, pass coverage. Tee off. Play everything as a pass.
2nd and 5. LeCount on the left side. Seal is the tight end on the right side. In motion goes Lenville Elliott. DeBerg's going to dump it off. And Francis carries out to about the 30-yard line. He's hit by McNeil. Haven't seen too much of Phil Francis, a 7th-round draft choice out of Stanford. Of course, he was under Walsh at Stanford, and he's a kid who's been banged up. He had a severe concussion. He had 2 shoulder injuries that required surgery, and just for good measure at Stanford, even though he was the #1 pass receiver in the nation, he missed 4 games because of an ankle injury. So he comes to the big leagues pretty well bruised. 3rd and 1 from the 29. Straight ahead goes Francis. We'll see. From this angle, it appeared he made it. Yep, first down. So Phil Francis, he's only 205 pounds. Going straight ahead.
Well, this is a real test of DeBerg now to see what he can do, see if he can rally his ball club. His short passing game has been beautiful. It's been excellent. When he's gone deep, he's been in trouble.
The Vikes with 5 backs now on a 1st and 10 from the San Francisco 30 as Nate Allen is in there. Francis and Elliott, the running backs. Play action fake. Heat from Duck White. And DeBerg got it away to Paul Seal, the tight end, and he picks up the first down. So even though Duck White was putting a lot of pressure on DeBerg, he found Paul Seal and picked up enough yardage to bring it out to the 44.
You know, an interesting thing in this game, Vinny, I don't think we've had a sack on either side.
Oh, that's right.
I can't recall a game where there wasn't a sack going into the 4th quarter.
And we have 6 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game.
Plus the fact we got immobile quarterbacks.
1st and 10 on the San Francisco 44. LeCount is to the left, Solomon to the right. It is 21-9 Vikings. Mullaney, I believe, was offsides. DeBerg throwing to Lenville Elliott, and Elliott has himself the first down. And I believe it was Mark Mullaney, number 77, who had jumped the gun.
And the 49ers did the correct thing. They went through with the play. They didn't stop. If you get a touchdown, you get a big play out of it, you can always have the option.
If there be a sack for San Francisco, there's the man who will probably get it. Cedric Hardman, number 86, 10 years in the league out of North Texas State.
77 defense declined. First down.
Well, we were right. Mark Mullaney was picked off offsides. 1st and 10 for San Francisco on the Viking 45-yard line. 6.5 minutes to go, 21-9 Minnesota. Play action fake to Elliott, and DeBerg is going for broke. Deep to Solomon. Touchdown. He beat John Turner.
Beautiful. DeBerg looked good on that one. Caught it right in his stride.
Freddie Solomon handling a beautiful pass from the Viking 45-yard line. The play action fake by Elliott froze them just enough for him to get on beyond Turner, and Turner never had a chance.
You know, the way to stop that type of play is you have to jam these guys, slow them down, break the timing up.
Well, the Viking lead now, George, is cut to 6 points, and we have 6.5 minutes left.
We got another ball game going again.
Indeed we do. Ray Wershing, who kicked 3 out of 4 field goal attempts today, with a hold by Joe Montana on the 10-yard line. And Ray had it partially blocked and got it through anyway. So the Vikings got a hand on it, but Wershing got enough of a foot on it. 21-16 in favor of the Vikes. Ray Wershing's point after was partially blocked by Tim Baylor, who was 6'5". It hit the crossbar and still went over. So the Vikings lead 21-16. And Wershing kicking deep to Jimmy Edwards on the 1. To the 15. He got away from Farrell. Still on his feet. Fumble! San Francisco might have recovered. Yes, San Francisco recovered on the Viking 36-yard line.
I'll tell you, Benny, and everyone watching Edwards, he's a good kick returner. But he scares me the way he catches the ball and sometimes the way he handles it.
Bob Farrell missed him. Saraceno missed him. Now watch. Here's Sebring, 53, trying to hook him by the jersey, but he got away from Sebring. And coming back, punching the ball out, looked like James Owens, number 20. Owens punched it out.
Came over the top.
Big play by James Owens. 1st and 10 on the Viking 37-yard line. And look out now for the 49ers. Phil Francis nowhere as he bumped into Fred Quillen, the center. Quillen was pushed back right into Francis' lap. A final, almost an upset. Miami 9, Buffalo 7. Final score. We got a dandy going here. It is 21-16. Even though the scoreboard has not been corrected here, they're stubborn to give up points in Minnesota, I'll tell you. 2nd and 10 from the 37. DeBerg looking at LeCount and throwing it. Up. Big play by Bobby Bryant. Lenville Elliott was the intended receiver.
He had him open, Vinny. He had to put something on the ball. The ball kind of floated in there. He was hit as he threw. That's probably the reason. See how that ball kind of drifts in there? Allowed Bryant to come in and break it up.
Bobby Bryant just able to get a hand on it. 11-year veteran out of South Carolina State. So it is 3rd and 10 for San Francisco on the Viking 37. And on a draw, there goes Francis inside the 30-yard line. He had to get to the 26. So they go to the rookie Phil Francis on a big draw up the middle, but it wasn't enough.
That's 4th and 3.
4th and 3. He got it to the 30. He has to get to about the 27-yard line, and San Francisco calling timeout to regroup.
This is a tough decision for Bill Walsh here, Benny. He's got to decide whether to go for a field goal, which is a little bit out of his range.
Yes, Wershing has not been effective at all from this, and we have 5:21 left to go, 21-16. Right. There's James Owens. We figured to see him with the ball. We didn't realize his biggest play of the day was going to be the tackle as he punched the ball out of Jimmy Edwards' arms, but that could be a very big play. It is now brought it up to the feet of Steve DeBerg. 4th and 3 on the Viking 30. It is 21-16 Vikings. 5:20 left in the game. Schumann wide right. Solomon wide left. Francis on a wing. Lenville Elliott is the running back. Whoa, the Vikings were moving. Let's see. Over the middle to Elliott for a first down, but wait a minute. Were the Vikings drawn offside? The Vikes say yes. We'll see.
Well, he's got the first down.
The Vikings are acting as if they were drawn offside. It was 4th and 3. Offside, Minnesota. And it is enough for a first down for San Francisco.
That's a nice option. He had the first down either way.
Big play. The Vikes, of course, felt that they were drawn offside. There you can see.
Yeah, you're not.
Dave Roller was the guy who moved. They just got him from Green Bay.
Offside, defensive line, first down.
Earlier we mentioned DeBerg was going on sound quick counts. In this situation, he went on about 3. Those rushmen sometimes anticipate and get drawn offside.
So Dave Roller offside, 1st and 10. San Francisco on the Viking 25. 5:15 left in the game. Solomon in motion to the left. DeBerg, play action fake to Francis. Throwing it to Francis, who goes out of bounds. And Francis is out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. Remember, he was the #1 pass receiver in the nation at Stanford. So he can handle the ball. Bill Francis, 6'1", 205-pounder, only 22 years old. He was a 7th-round draft choice. So 1st and 10 on the Viking 14-yard line.
DeBerg's doing a fine job here. Looks good.
Great first game for San Francisco and Minnesota. And DeBerg directing his troops. Francis, the sole setback. Elliott was on a wing, but now he comes back. Schumann is right, Solomon left. DeBerg looking for Solomon. He's got him inside the 10. Solomon goes down at about the 8. Bryant and McNeil hit him. Steve DeBerg started 11 games last year, but led the 49ers to only 1 victory. But he's showing a lot of cool out there, George.
He is. And we talked earlier that this is going to be a test. They were down 21-9. He can take his ball club in here. No matter what they do the rest of the way, he's earned his job as a starting quarterback.
2nd and 2, the ball on the Vikings 7-yard line. Solomon is going to the right. Francis and Elliott, the running backs, and it's Elliott looking for a hole inside the 5, and the Vikes bring him down. Lenville Elliott, picked up from Cincinnati. He's another player just a few days ago, and again to remember, he's the kid celebrating a birthday today. He's 28 today.
Well, Bill Walsh knew him when he was in Cincinnati, and he's had some bumps and bruises. A healthy Elliott is a good football player.
And he is showing that he is a good football player right now. So 4:14 as they check for the first down. Look out.
Game of inches.
They picked it. The nose of the ball just made it, so it's 1st and goal on the Viking 4. 4:13 left. 21-16 Minnesota. But here comes San Francisco.
Jumbo defense for the Vikings. Rushman, big Rushman.
Marshall and Holloway, Duck White and Sutherland and Mulaney are all up there. So DeBerg's work is cut out for him. In motion goes Clark. Here comes Lenville Elliott, and he's going to go in. Oh, what a run by Lenville Elliott.
Lenville Elliott.
Happy birthday.
Yes, what a game he's having. He was hit for a loss. He changed his pace and cut underneath. See if we can see it again.
DeBerg giving it to Lenville Elliott. That's John Turner, 27. He can't get him. He just runs right out of Turner. That's Randy Cross looking, and then he hits Blair and knocks Blair down. So that was it. Randy Cross hit Matt Blair after he was able to get out of the grasp of John Turner there. And here's Cross. Look at him hitting Blair right there. And in he goes. The spot, the kick is blocked. So the kick is blocked, but the Vikings are down.
Here's Jerry Lewis for his kid.
Hi, you've probably been seeing this display a lot lately. They're in your 7-Eleven stores all over the country. And we've been asking you to help my kids by dropping by your neighborhood 7-Eleven and doing this. A little change could mean a big change for all my kids with muscular dystrophy.
And could you arrange to let me keep the change for my kids? Say, could you arrange?
One thing I'll never compromise on, my tools. I go for the best, like this, or these. Yeah, Levi's blue jeans are tools. They fit your body like a good hammer fits your hand, nice and comfortable. And this Levi's denim is as tough as nails, a real value for the buck. Tell you, I wouldn't wear anything less than Levi's blue jeans, but then I don't skimp on tools.
Ray Wershing's point after was blocked by number 75 in the right-hand side of your screen, Randy Holloway. Got a big paw on it. So San Francisco 22, Minnesota 21, 3:47 left in the game. And Jimmy Edwards, whose fumble was a killer, will try it again to the 15, 20, 25, 30, to the 40, and down he goes at the 44. Charles Cornelius riding his back as Edwards tries to atone for his previous fumble. And with 3:35, we got a lot of time left after a 40-yard return. Edwards moving well.
Good moves. He's a jitterbug type of runner, and you can see those strong legs pumping all the time.
Ray Wershing was in front of him, and Cornelius got him from behind while he was juking. Crowd seeing quite an opener. 1st and 10 on the Vikings 44. Kramer with his backs releasing, looking over the middle. Now going to run with it. To midfield and goes out of bounds at the 49-yard line of San Francisco. So Kramer deciding to run with the ball when his receivers were covered.
Well, this is good on Kramer's part. Rather than putting it up for grabs and having a possible interception, he runs with the football. Picks up good yardage. Gets out of bounds so he doesn't take a pounding.
They spotted on the San Francisco 48, so he picked up 8 yards. And Tommy Kramer with a 2nd and 2 on the San Francisco 48. San Francisco leading 22-21 with 3:27 to go in the game. Pull up the chair and hang on. Kramer with a slot right. White inside Cunningham. Chuck Foreman with Ricky Young blocking for him. Oh, what a collision. He hit Hilton, and Scott Hilton hit Foreman head on, and what a thud.
Foreman was running with authority in that play. You know, that kick return gave them field position now to be in good range of a field goal to put them ahead again.
They picked up 4 yards for the 1st down, so it's 1st and 10 on the San Francisco 44. Rashad, who has scored 3 touchdowns, goes wide left. Sammy White is wide right. Voigt, the tight end, on the right side. The backs release, and Kramer going the right side for Sammy White, but he's out of bounds. Tim Gray over there to defend, but he wasn't in the play.
Boy, he was open.
So it is 2nd and 10 for Tommy Kramer. Still plenty of time. 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Remember, Kramer's only other NFL start. He threw 3 interceptions, and he lost to the Oakland Raiders in 1977, 35-13. 2nd and 10 on the San Francisco 44. Voigt in motion to the right. Both backs released. Kramer over the middle to Robert Miller, and he makes the catch, even though Hilton is all over him. And the 49ers, Harper is furious, maintaining that there was a penalty.
Oh, he was overruled.
And Willie Harper evidently was right on the call.
Right.
Willie Harper, 6 years out of Nebraska, claiming that the Vikings had done Hilton wrong. And it's incomplete.
Here's a big down, 3rd and 10.
Here's Kramer looking for Miller. And you
He
see
lost
the ball
it.
hit the ground just as Miller did. That's why.
He stripped him with the ball.
So Hilton able to break it up, and Willie Harper caught it, and it's an incomplete pass. On the sideline, that's Jim Huff, who's a snapper. 3rd and 10 from the 44. Kramer got his man, Ahmad Rashad. And Rashad goes down just enough, I believe, for the first down. He beat Melvin Morgan. But there's a flag on the play, so a hold the ball. And the flag evidently against San Francisco.
In the clutch, he goes to Rashad. When you need the first down, he goes to Rashad.
To the 33-yard line of San Francisco. So that was an 11-yard pickup. 1st and 10 from the 33. 2 minutes and 7 seconds left in the game. 22-21 San Francisco. Ricky Young and Chuck Foreman behind Kramer. And Hardman was really off the line.
That's 2 minutes.
And we'll see if it's just a 2 minute. That's what it is.
Yeah.
We thought they were calling Hardman for offside. With 2 minutes left. 22-21 San Francisco, and Dan Meyer waiting.
Aren't those coals hot yet, Winslow?
Not yet, Grandma, but soon.
Listen, at my age, I can't wait forever. You need the edge.
Get the edge. Get the Kingsford Edge.
Kingsford Edges catch quickly because Kingsford has a special fast lighting ingredient. Fire spreads fast.
Kingsford's ready, Grandma.
Of course it is. Now skedaddle. A real cook's taking over.
For fast and easy barbecues, get the Kingsford Edge.
I like her chili. But it doesn't like me.
Feel better fast with Digel.
I like deviled ham, but it doesn't like me.
Feel better fast with Digel.
With the ingredients in Digel, relief from acid indigestion and gas starts in less than a minute.
I like green banana. But they don't like me.
Feel better fast with Digel.
Digel relief starts in less than a minute.
A score, New Orleans leading Atlanta 31-27 on a 21-yard touchdown pass from Steve Bartkowski to Wallace Francis. They have 3:50 left in the 3rd in that one. We have 2 minutes left in ours. We can also duck in a final. Houston 29, Washington 27. And our game at San Francisco 22, Minnesota 21. 2 minutes left and the Vikes are driving on the San Francisco 33. George, what do we look for?
Well, right here, Kramer doesn't have to throw the ball. He wants to run the clock down, get in good position for a field goal.
He's going to throw it, however, or maybe run it. No, he throws, and it is double caught by Sammy White. And Hardman finally took him down. Dan Bunz is shaken up on the play, and Bunz might feel that he should have broken up the play. Number 57. Take another look. There's Bunz taking his drop.
Get him back.
There's the ball in the air.
Oh, boy.
And then White recovers it.
Anybody's ball up there.
So Sammy White makes that clutch reception in a crowd of linebackers to the 18-yard line. 1st and 10.
Kramer has all his options open.
A minute 17 left. Robert Miller and Ricky Young are the running back. Robert Miller into a crowd, and he gets down to about the 15-yard line.
That's the point I was trying to make, Benny, is that if you're going to score, you don't want to score too soon. You want to get in good position for a field goal. Try to score a touchdown first, of course. But if you have to kick off now, the 49ers don't have much time on the clock left to rally and get back on the board.
So the Vikings on a drive, 2nd and 7. The ball on the San Francisco 15-yard line. Rashad is left, White right. Tucker, the tight end, in motion. Foreman is in there with Young. And the back's released, and there's our sack. That's the first sack we have had. And the boys who were coming were Harper and Hilton, and they ate him up.
That's the point that I was making. A pass is a little bit risky. They dog. The middle linebacker sacked him. Now he's got a difficult field goal. He's back in the 25-yard line.
And the first sack for either side,
Right. And
First charge, timeout, Minnesota.
what an opportune sack. Yeah.
So with 27 seconds left to go, 22-21 San Francisco, hold on. Curtain raiser for 79. They said there were two bad teams coming off the exhibition, but what a ball game. San Francisco 22, the Vikings 21, 27 seconds left. The ball is on the 25-yard line after that sack of Tommy Kramer. Our producer, Tommy O'Neill, and our director, Tony Verna. This is Vin Scully along with George Allen. Glad you were along for the ride.
Heck of a game we have going. Boy, what a game.
Foreman and Young are behind Kramer. Cunningham is wide right. White in a slot inside Rashad left. Kramer looking to the left. And he's got his man, Rashad. And a fumble. Recovered by White. Sammy White recovered it in the end zone. Touchdown. You'll see this again. Ahmad Rashad makes the catch. As soon as he got away from Charles Cornelius, he's heading for the end zone. And now what? It looks like his fourth, but it's knocked right out of his hands by Tim Gray. And as it rolls in the end zone, Brister can't get it, and there is Sammy White to fall on it for the touchdown. Minnesota has pulled it out, and they're going wild. Dan Meyer now trying to make it 28, and it's good. Minnesota 28, San Francisco 22, with 17 seconds left in the game that has broken the hearts of the 49ers.
I'll tell you why.
Ahmad Rashad fumbling in the end zone, recovered by Sammy White. Here's the hit again by Tim Gray. The ball is loose, but Brister doesn't see it as he tackles Rashad. Sammy White coming in from the right side, falls on it, and it's touchdown Minnesota.
And prior to that, Cornelius should be tackling for sureness. Wrap your arms around. Don't let him get loose. See, real sloppy tackling there cost that play.
Charles Cornelius from Miami, 3 years out of Bethune-Cookman, and of course, as you said, George, it was his bad tackle that led to the touchdown. So Dan Meyer kicking off, and he's going to squib it. And it's picked up by Brewer, a tight end at the 35, and Brewer gets to the 40. 12 seconds left on the scoreboard as San Francisco calls time.
What a weird ending.
What a ball game. So Ahmad Rashad, who had scored 3, fumbles his apparent 4th, only to have Sammy White fall on it for what looks like the game-winning touchdown. 12 seconds left for the 49ers, but they almost pulled the upset.
You don't win many games that way, or you don't lose many games that way.
James Owens, wide left. Freddie Solomon wide right, so they've got the burners in there. And DeBerg on a drop, going to wind up and go deep down the left side for Schumann. And it is intercepted by Studwell. And the linebacker steps out of bounds. And that, for all intents and purposes, is the ball game. Scott Studwell, 3 years out of Illinois, took it away from Schumann. And the Vikings have won it with 2 seconds left.
Great win for the Vikings, for Bud Grant, for everybody in the organization.
And a heartbreaking
tough
defeat.
loss for the 49ers. They played well enough to win. They had this ball game won. Strange circumstances allowed them to lose.
You realize that they sacked Kramer. He had a 3rd and 17 on the 25, and they scored on that play.
Well, just poor defense.
So as we said way back at the start of this game, Bill Walsh has had 28 cornerbacks and 19 safeties. And of course, when you're shuffling people like that, you know you have a porous defense, and it finally caught up to him. Well, it looks like Tommy Kramer will just sit down and be covered, and that'll be that. There he goes, and there goes our ball game. The winning coach, Bud Grant. The Vikings 28, San Francisco 22. This is Vin Scully for George Allen saying goodbye from Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. Coming up next, more tennis from Flushing Meadows. The U.S. Open starts into its final week. Today live, you'll see rating champion Jimmy Connors take on Bruce Manson. That's coming up next, right here on CBS. The NFL on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.